It's time your faith had some conviction about it. The Most High Yah is not gonna save you on his own. You gotta wanna be saved. You gotta want the truth. He says, they that worship me must worship me in spirit and in truth. We in exile, and it's just gonna be a little while before the Messiah returns. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. I was bumping that T.I. Rubber band man, filing the lawless. My soul was damn. Mama said, seek my face, and it healed the land. I was steady stacking dollars, trying to get bands. Ain't never told a prop, but I got stick for the ops. Got a 100-round drum, and the tour got a red dot. Without exposing lies, the wolf won't get dropped. A lot of people switched up. Your past better flip-flop. You ain't doing nothing new. Heathens been hitting licks. Scattered to the four corners. But you ain't never traced a trip. Word about salvation. Steady focusing on drip. It was out of one cup. The believers took a sip. I'm steady on the trigger, steady on the truth. You say you love Yah, but what does word mean to you? What it mean to you? Why your lips steady saying what it is you won't do? You're not black or African. Hamashiach came for you. Salvation for the Yahudim. Then the Gentile. He came for the lost sheep. House of Israel. We in them last days. This the last quarter mile. He unlocking the minds and releasing the files. Commandment is a lamp. Torah is the truth. And Torah is the truth. I'm not bigger X, but I stay dropping truth. Stay encouraged, Israel.
Man, the hardest thing on this journey is to love somebody so much you want to save them. Man, the only problem is they really don't want salvation. Man, I'm tired of these trials and tribulations. On your word, every day I'm meditating. Renew my mind with divine education, so I could take up my cross with no hesitation. Steady trying to chase the bag, getting wealth. Grinding so hard I done compromised my health. You sent the Savior, your righteous help. In the land of Goshen, I can go stealth. All you gotta do is follow the example. Blessings in your life ain't nothing but a sample. Full dress rehearsal and you know the time is ample. Yah gave you Torah, the light to your candle. Yah can't save you if you don't wanna be saved. Yah won't change you if you don't wanna be changed. Yah can't save you if you don't wanna be saved. Yah won't change you if you don't wanna be changed. Yah can't save you if you don't wanna be saved. Yah won't change you if you don't wanna be changed. Man, this leadership is something serious. Trying to lead people that don't wanna hear it. Death around the corner, they don't know they near it. Worshiping these idols, but Yah they not fearing. Commandment is a lamp, Torah is the truth. Your flesh or the will of Yah, you gon' have to choose. The price of salvation, your old life you lose. Choosing wrong and you gon' be singing them blues. They trying to live their best life apart from the kingdom. Hasatan the puppet master and his strings. They won't believe in it if they can't see him. The only way to the Father, I guarantee it. Yah can't save you if you don't wanna be saved. Yah won't change you if you don't wanna be changed. Yah can't save you If you don't wanna be saved, Yah won't change you. If you don't wanna be changed, Yah can't save you. If you don't wanna be saved, Yah won't change you. If you don't wanna be changed.
Messiah told the disciples, they not gonna like this. If you stand on business, you become a flight risk. They not gonna record it right. They gonna rewrite this. Tor got a red dot. Ain't no way I miss. They think I came to bring peace, but I brought a sword. Every knee shall bow. They gon' know I'm Lord. My law up in your heart. You better keep it stored. Repent for you missed the kingdom. You cannot afford. It's some abominations up in they temple. They gon' write about me and what I went through. I'ma renew your mind, renew your mental. I came to heal the blind and anoint the simple. They some hypocrites, they some Pharisees. They say they know the law, but teaching heresies. Now they big mad, staring at me. They gon' want me dead, ends terribly. He lived his whole life standing on business. Got 100-round drum if you play with it. He lived his whole life standing on business. When it comes to judge the world, you can't say you're ignorant. He lived his whole life standing on business. Got 100-round drum if you play with it. He lived his whole life standing on business. When it comes to judge the world, you can't say you're ignorant. They told Rahab he could heal a hoe. His hands anointed, gotta want it though. I'm steady spitting truth, they can't keep the flow. Salvation for the Yahudim, you already know. I didn't come for the heathen, came for the lost sheep. I'm about to heal my people all through these streets. We gotta sift the tares to reveal the wheat. Don't exalt yourself, Yah does the increase. Got a rat up in this camp, his name is Judas. He went behind my back instead of handling business. And now he's with the heathens, now he's keeping Christmas. Lace up your boots and get ready to do this. This is a Closer to Yah Ministries, last days exclusive. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.
Stop playing with your life. You get what you deserve. Stop playing with your life. You get what you deserve. Stop playing with your life. You get what you deserve. Stop playing with your life.
Man shall not live by bread alone, but every word. How you play the victim when you got what you deserve. Keep thinking it's a game, boy, hanging on that curve. When this judgment comes, I bet you can't swerve. Rebuke that flesh daily, fighting off the urge. You only get one life to live, you might wanna purge. People love you when you're the same, but hate your change. You're covered in filth instead of a Mashiach's name. You say you read the book, but take his word in vain. He's steady sending messenger, but you refuse to change. You had your garden moment, but Adam, you want to blame. Instead of seeking truth, you took life as a game. I know living a life of sin seems fun for the moment. Boy, that jaw gon' dry when you find out he don't condone it. All his judgments are just, and I guarantee you don't want it. Going against the Most High, an unbeatable opponent.
Stop playing with your life. You get what you deserve. Stop playing with your life. You get what you deserve. Stop playing with your life. You get what you deserve. Stop playing with your life. You get what you deserve. Stop playing with your life.
This is a Closer to Yah Ministries, last days exclusive. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, turn your notifications on. You have the opportunity to repent But once those eyes close, you will face judgment. Stop playing with your life, because you will get what you deserve. The only way to kick it is gun, barrel, straight, out. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Israel. Man, I hope everybody is having a blessed day of rest and is able and willing to enter into that rest. You know, today's Shabbat message, is titled The Restoration of the Daughters of Zion. Man, I've got about 65 slides, a lot of video clippings, a lot of scripture, a lot of the word of the Most High Yah to cover, to make sure that the daughters of Zion that want to be restored, that want to be set apart, that have ears to hear, are getting the truth rather than getting their ears tickled. And as a father, as a husband, married to a black woman, fathering 4 children, 2 sons and 2 daughters, man, I wouldn't even want my own daughters to be going through some of this stuff and to fall into some of these snares that I see our women falling into. And I would be absolutely ashamed and embarrassed and questioning my role of what I was teaching as a father if my daughters were going out doing some of the stuff that I'm going to showcase today. Okay, so title of the message is Restoration of the Daughters of Zion. Let's keep going. Welcome to all in Shabbat Shalom, Israel. Like I said, man, it is a blessing in this last day to be a set apart people, obeying the word of the Most High Yah, honoring, keeping the Shabbat holy, keeping the Sabbath holy as a perpetual covenant throughout our generations. Man, I remember a time where, it was only a couple years back where I could have read Exodus 20 all day long and still be keeping first day sun worship because I didn't understand what it was actually asking us to do. So I'm thankful that the Most High Yah pulled me up out of that idolatry, up out of that type of rebellion, that type of substituting the will of man for the will of the Most High. So it is a blessing to be delivering this message on the Shabbat. And I'll tell you, man, hands down, I'll put this Shabbat message up against any Sunday pastor's message for women, black women, daughters of Zion, melanated women. I'll put it up against any one of them. You see what I'm saying? I'm coming with straight, raw truth and obedience to the will of the Most High. How to support the ministry? Hit the like button. Man, that like, now I understand this is one of those messages where it may not get a whole bunch of likes because I want you to realize in this message, all of my messages, whether it be clips throughout the week or Shabbat messages, man, it's about leadership. It's not about likership. I don't do this, and trust me, once I get into this video, you'll realize if your desire as a teacher or as a minister of the Most High Yah is to be like, you're going to avoid persecution at all costs. So you'll teach ear-ticklish messages. This is not a lukewarm, ear-ticklish message by any means. So if it gets 0 likes, man, I'm cool with it because I know the level of truth that I'm delivering is not going to be by popular demand and received by the peanut gallery. Subscribe to the channel. If you are a daughter of Zion and wants to hear convicting messages, convicting biblical-based messages that are going to help you out in your journey, man, this is a channel for you. Man, currently, the demographics of this channel is most of my subscribers and viewers are male, 70, almost 80%. And slowly but surely, women are slowly trickling in because the stuff that I'm talking about, and several women, shout out to you if you've been following the channel for a while, man. I appreciate your view. I appreciate you tuning in. I know some of the messages are not hard to hear, but in order to deliver this truth, I can't sugarcoat it. Okay, lastly, turn your notifications on and set to all notifications. Okay, share this video. Please share this video amongst other women that you know are going through some of the stuff that I'm talking about. Share this. Don't hoard this for yourself. Share it. But I want to remind you, when you share this, if you share it publicly on your social media, the critics and the persecution will come, even though you in your heart are sending this to somebody to try to help them out. You will be persecuted for that. Okay, so beware of that. And I want you to disregard the Cash App, donate the Closer to Yah Ministries. That's in my slide deck for those that on a regular basis tune in and are led by the Most High to give an offering. Okay, but I want you, daughters of Zion, I want you to not donate for this particular message. And I want you to go back and, watch some of my content and see if it's a fit for you. And if it resonates with you, and the Most High Yah puts it on you and you want to give an offering, that's completely up to you. But one thing I do not do is tickle ears for money. I'm not sitting up here begging. It's not a major portion of my ministry or anything like that, where we got to go into the financial portion of the service. It ain't nothing like that. So disregard, because I don't want you, donating and then trying to figure out how you can get your money back because I spoke the truth and you was offended by it. So you hold off on that and keep it raw and keep it real. Agenda. In today's Shabbat message, I'll be discussing the only way that the daughters of Zion can have restoration in the last days. This is not a popular message that will be received well by the court of public opinion, but lead those women who have ears to hear to repentance, deliverance, and renewal of their minds. I'll be dropping many nuggets of divine wisdom and playing several clips as receipts of the why our women are at the bottom statistically. As a father of 4 and a husband to a black woman, I refuse to sit back and let my daughters fall into the snares of Hasatan while I do nothing. As a warrior in profession and in spirit, I'm coming against anything. I'm telling you right now, in this message, I'm coming against anything that's causing the daughters of Zion to rebel against the Most High Yah and his will. It's all love, but no, it gets hot in that kitchen when you reject the truth. I refuse to submit my daughters to the low-based mindset that many of the daughters of Zion have. Notice I said many, I didn't say all. Okay, even when I'm dead and gone, man, I want to make sure that this message will live on. All praise to the Most High. Why are we here today? We're here today out of our obedience to the word of the Most High Yah in Exodus chapter 20, verses 8 through 11. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy Yahweh. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heaven and the earth and the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Wherefore Yahweh blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Exodus 31:13. Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Sabbaths you shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I am Yahuwah Elohim that do sanctify you. This is why we're here. Luke chapter 4, verse 14 through 16. And Yahshua returned in the power of the Spirit of Galilee, and there went out a fame of him through all the region round about. And he taught in their synagogues, being glorified of all. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up. And as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day and stood up for to read. So just giving you an example, a biblical example of Hamashiach, the Messiah, keeping the Sabbath. You know, the same thing that the Most High Yah commanded the people do, Messiah came in the flesh and actually obeyed it. You know, the first question you need to ask yourself is your heart willing? You know, trying to teach somebody something that's not willing to learn righteousness because their mind is set on wickedness and unrighteousness is a task that is impossible. So is your heart willing? 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 12. For if there first be a willing mind, it is acceptable according to that a man hath, and not according to that he have not. So if you got a little bit of willingness, man, we can work with that. Most High Yah can work with that. It's based about you having the measure of willingness, not based upon what you think you don't have and where you should be. If you have a willing mind. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 5. Why should you be stricken and punished again, since no change results from it? You only continue to rebel. The whole head is sick and the whole heart is faint and sick. You know, man, I tell you, man, if anything is on you, you know, as a daughter of Zion, that results Delilah, that results the Proverbs 5, the Proverbs 7, Jezebel, witch, sorcery, this message ain't for you, because demons will manifest in you listening to this message, because it's going to convict you. You know, if your flesh starts to crawl and creep behind some of these passages that I'm going over, some of these clips and I'm coming against, you know, man, I pray that you bear the fruits of repentance and you seek deliverance. Matthew chapter 11, verse 6. And blessed, joyful, favored by Yahweh is he who does not take offense at me, accepting me as the Messiah, and trusting confidently in my message of salvation. So when you think about the Messiah's message of salvation, he was teaching repentance. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. If you don't repent, you're not inheriting the kingdom. In order to repent, have a change of mind, in order to have your ways corrected, man, you have to accept truth. You have to have a willing heart and a willing mind. Lip service. You know, this is a major problem. Lip service. Man, as a woman, as a daughter of Zion, it is a major problem, and you need to note it as a major problem. If you say you love God, or say you love the Most High, or love the Most High Yahweh, you say you love Yahshua, you love the Messiah, but yet the stuff in the Bible that you know you should be doing, you reject it and resist it. Matthew chapter 12, verse 36. But I tell you, on the day of judgment, people will have to give an account for every careless or useless word they speak. So I want you to understand, man, if you say you love the Most High and don't obey his word, man, you're speaking careless or useless words. One thing you're not going to be able to do is tickle Hamashiach's ears. You're not going to be able to tickle the Messiah ears, because the Most High Yah tells us, you know, if we love him, we obey his commandments. So this is why I'm addressing lip service. Matthew chapter 15, verse 8. This people honor me with their lips, but their heart is far away from me. Man, that's basically when you can hoop and holler, oh, you love him, God is good, and all of this. But yet, if we open up this book and we start dishing out what it is we're supposed to be doing, and you reject that, man, that's lip service worship. That's lip service worship. That's rebellion. And I brought it up because in Matthew, man, you're going to give an account. When you get to Judgment Day, it's not going to be, oh, you know, everything is you all cute and I like your outfit and man, you're well dressed and you smell good. No, it's you said you love me, but yet you didn't do nothing I asked you to do. You're going to have to give an account. Not only for your words, but for your actions, whether it be good or evil. A remnant's judgment is going to go good. But for the masses, it ain't going to go good. And I'm giving you this message so you are part of the remnant and not a part of the masses. Biblical strong delusion. You know, anytime you talk about delusional or delusion, oftentimes people don't know that biblically there are such things as strong delusion. And I'm going to go over it. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 7 through 12. For the mystery of lawlessness, rebellion against divine authority, okay, and coming reign of lawlessness is already at work, but it is restrained only until he who now restrains it taken out of the way. Then the lawless one, the anti-Messiah, will be revealed, and the Lord Yeshua will slay him with the breath of his mouth and bring him to an end by the appearance of his coming. The coming of the anti-Messiah, the lawless one, is through activity of Hasatan, attended with great power and all kind of counterfeit miracles and deception, signs and false wonders, all of them lies, and by unlimited seduction to evil, and with all the deception of wickedness for those who are perishing, because they did not welcome the love of the truth of the Besorah, or of the gospel, so as to be saved. They were spiritually blind and rejected the truth that would save them. And I'm telling you today, you know, man, if you're watching this message and you reject the meat of what I'm talking about, if you reject the meat of these words of these passages, I'm going to be honest, these next 12 months for you, you're not going to have a testimony of joy. You're going to have a testimony of suffering. Because I want you to understand, religion teaches you that angels are all of these things flying around and all of this, but the etymology of the word angel means messenger. So today I'm giving you a message, hoping that it can save your soul. Okay? Seduction to evil and all the deception of wickedness for those who are perishing, because they did not welcome the love of the truth, the Besorah, so as to be saved. They were spiritually blind and rejected the truth that would have saved them. Because of this, Yahweh will send upon a misleading influence, okay, a strong delusion and activity of error and deception, so they will believe a lie, in order that all may be judged and condemned who did not believe the truth about their sin and their need for salvation through Yeshua, but instead took pleasure in unrighteousness. So I want you to understand, man, if you reject truth as a daughter of Zion and take pleasure in unrighteousness, promote it, take pleasure in it, fight for it, don't speak against it, Most High Yah is going to send you a strong delusion, misleading influence. Daughters of Zion, Isaiah chapter 3, verse 16 through 26. Moreover, the Lord said, because the daughters of Zion are proud and walk around with outstretched necks and seductive, flirtatious, alluring eyes, and trip along with menacing steps and affected gait, and walk with jingling anklets on their feet, therefore the Lord will afflict the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion with scabs, making them bald, and the Lord will expose their foreheads, sending them into captivity. Giving you some context there. In that day, the Lord will take away the beauty of their anklets, braided caps, crescents, head ornaments, dangling earrings, bracelets, and hanging veils and scarves, head wraps, turbans, short jingling, anklets, chains, sashes, perfume boxes, amulets, charms, signet finger rings, nose rings, festive robes, other tunics, shawls, handbags, hand mirrors, fine linen undergarments, headband, and veils covering the entire body. Now it will come to pass that instead of the sweet fragrance of spices, there will be a stench of rottenness. There will be a stench of rottenness. Instead of a belt, a rope. Instead of well-set hair, baldness. Instead of fine clothes, a robe of sackcloth, and braiding of captives by scorching heat instead of beauty. There's a lot of, going when it comes to the daughters of Zion. I want you to understand, man, if you're rebellious and potentially suffering from what they call alopecia, I want you to think about how your rebellion is playing into that. And if you're suffering with that, think about, okay, what can you do to strive for righteousness, and see, won't the Most High Yah address it? This is the judgment for the haughty and high-minded daughter of Zion. He don't strike them with scabs of baldness. Once the Most High Yah is striking you with these scabs of baldness, it don't matter what kind of cream and oil and whatnot you get from the beauty supply. He's doing it not because you ain't got the right product. He's doing it because of rebellion. Your men will fall by the sword, and your mighty men in battle, and Jerusalem's gates will lament, crying out in grief, and mourn as those who wail for the dead. And she, being ruined and desolate, will sit upon the ground. That's Jerusalem. You got to understand our communities, the areas where we dwell, they ain't going to prosper. Remnant repaired. Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1 through 3. And in that day, 7 women will take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own food and wear and provide our own clothes. Only let us be called by your name. Take away our shame of being unmarried. Think about that. We're in a daytime and hour where the daughters of Zion are all trying to compete for one man, but yet this right here is righteous. These women saying it's hard out here. Doing this thing on our own, it is hard out here. It says, in that day, 7 women will take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own food and we will wear and provide our own clothes. Only let us be called by your name. Take away our shame of being unmarried. In that day, the branch of the Lord will be splendid and glorious, and the fruit of the land will be excellent and lovely to those of Israel who have survived. It will come to pass that he who is left in Zion and remains in Jerusalem will be called holy, set apart for Yahweh, everyone who is recorded for eternal life in Jerusalem. You know, man, I'm delivering this message. So if you're headed down that road, man, you can go ahead and make the adjustments you need so you don't find yourself in this situation. Because before you get there, man, that's a lot of suffering. That's a lot of misery. That's a lot of dysfunction. And it don't have to be that way. Zechariah chapter 9:9. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout aloud, O daughter of Jerusalem. Behold, your king, Hamashiach, is coming to you. He is righteous and endowed with salvation, humble and unassuming, in submission to the will of the Father, riding on a donkey, upon a colt, the foal of a donkey. A colt, Hebrew word 5895, a young ass. On a colt refers to Yahshua riding on a young donkey, a colt, fulfilling a prophecy from the Old Testament. This act is symbolic, representing humility, peace, and the nature of Yahshua's kingdom. The foal, Hebrew word 1121, a son, afflicted age, appointed to, young bullock, young calf, child, youth. In the Bible, a foal refers primarily to the young of a donkey, often called a colt or an ass colt. The term is used in relation to the young of a horse and zebras, but the donkey foal is the most common usage. The foal, particularly when associated with a donkey, symbolizes humility and peacefulness. Zechariah chapter 2, verse 10 through 13. Sing for joy and rejoice, O daughter of Zion, for behold, I am coming. And I will dwell in your midst, declares the Lord. Many nations shall join themselves to the Lord in that day, and shall be my people, and I will dwell in your midst, and you shall know, which means recognize, understand fully, that the Lord of hosts has sent me to you. The Lord will take possession of Judah as the portion in the Holy Land, and will again choose Jerusalem. Be still before the Lord, all mankind, for he is roused, meaning raised up from his holy habitation in response to his persecuted people. Now, when you choose continual rebellion, I want you to understand what you're facing is the consequences of your actions. You're not facing persecution for living in rebellion. You're facing consequences, repercussions. So, this is just breaking down, the Most High Yah is addressing the daughters of Zion, and then he goes into the repairing or restoration of the daughters of Zion, which I titled this slide, Remnant Repaired. severing ties with the serpent. Genesis chapter 3, verse 1 through 6. Now the serpent was more crafty, subtle, skilled in deceit than any living creature of the field which Yahweh made. And the serpent Hasatan said to the woman, can it really be that Yahweh has said, you shall not eat from any of the tree of garden? What he did was play with her mind to where she started to question the Most High Yah. And her questioning what she should have been obeying is what led to this rebellion. This is how he entered into her mind. And the woman said to the serpent, we may eat of the fruit from the trees of the garden, except from the tree which is in the middle of the garden. Yahuwah said, you shall not eat from it nor touch it, otherwise you will die. So this is the clear indication that a lot of daughters of Zion know what they should be doing, but yet you've allowed Hasatan to get into your mind, crafty, subtly, skilled, and deceitfully, and to warp, your judgment, and it disrupts your execution of the fulfillment of obedience to the Torah. Okay? But the serpent said to the woman, you certainly will not die. So he's coming against the Most High Yah's instruction. It's basically like if the Most High Yah is saying you're gonna perish, you won't have eternal life if you do this. Hasatan's coming with the opposite, saying you can do that and have eternal life. He's trying to make it seem like the Most High don't want you to experience all this good and evil, and he's telling you you're gonna die if you do it, and you fall for that trap and say, yeah, and you go and do evil. For Yahuwah knows that on the day you eat from it, your eyes will be open. That is, you will have greater awareness, and you will be like a god. That right there, and you will be like a god. So when you look at some of these terms, diva, goddess, this is what Eve fell for. He tempted her with, you're gonna be a goddess. Girl, you be a diva. Knowing the difference between good and evil. See, the Most High Yah, when he gave them this instruction, he didn't want them to have awareness of evil because they hadn't fallen. And when the woman saw, listen to this, and when the woman saw is eyesight, that the tree was good for food. So she looked at the tree that the Most High Yah said, hey, y'all don't need to eat that. She said, well, it looked good for food. And that is delightful to look at, pleasing to look at. Delightful? I want you to understand, man, if you stick in this message, I'm gonna talk about some of these men that look delightful to your eyes, look good to lay down with, but ain't good for you. And the tree to be desired in order to make one wise and insightful. Oh man, I'm gonna be educated. I'm gonna eat this fruit and I'm gonna have all the education in the world. She took some of the fruit and ate it. So she knew her mind was already warped. And she also gave some to her husband with her, and he ate. Man, Hasatan used the serpent to attack the woman to get to the man. Man, you got to understand everything that you see. This is one of your weaknesses, is that you will fall for visual things that's really deceptive. Magic, you fall for all of that. Knowing that it's deceptive behind I don't give a dang what it is. When you think about magic, man, that stuff is rooted in witchcraft. Deception. There's 3 levels of deception. And when you think about it, it's all designed to warp your mind for you not to see things for what it is. That's not a good position as a woman to see something, as a daughter of Zion, to see something as good when the Most High Yah is telling you it's not for you. It's not good. Then that will cause you to stumble in wherever you walk in. That'll cause you to befriend people that you shouldn't be friends with. The Bible will tell you to avoid such people, to cast these people out from the congregation, and you will run to them and befriend them because of what you see. She had a nice outfit on. That's some nice hair. Girl, where'd you do your makeup at? Most High Yah is trying to cut off cancerous people from Israel, but because what you see and you perceive it as good and delightful, you fall for it. Visual weakness. Genesis chapter 3, verse 6, okay? Saw is Hebrew word 7200, to see, to gaze, to perceive, to regard. Delightful, Hebrew word 8378, to desire, longing for, satisfying, sinful, lust. So when she said it was delightful to look at, that's a sinful lust. Man, there is a sinful lust and a righteous lust. Man, when you look in the Old Testament, when it's talking about what to do with your tithes, these agricultural goods, if the way be too far, it tells you to buy whatever, to sell it and buy whatever your soul lusts for. That's a righteous type of lust. The Most High Yah is instructing that. But in this sense, it is a sinful lust. Matthew chapter 6, verse 22 through 24. The eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is clear, spiritually perceptive, your whole body will be full of light, benefiting from Yahweh's precepts. But if your eye is bad, spiritually blind, your whole body will be full of darkness, devoid of Yahweh's precepts. So if the very light inside you, your inner self, your heart, your conscience is darkness, how great and terrible is that darkness? Verse 24, no one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to one and despise the other. You cannot serve Yahweh and Mammon, which is money, possessions, fame, status, or whatever is valued more than the Most High. That's a breakdown of Mammon. So you got to understand, the minute you start talking to the serpent, you go against the instruction of the Most High Yah, the instruction of the man. You can't be loyal to both. You can't be loyal to both. And this is the conflict for a lot of daughters of Zion. If you in an entanglement with the serpent, how you gonna show your obedience to the Most High Yah and the instructions of those appointed to be over you? You can't do it. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 6. Just as Sarah obeyed Abraham, following him and having regard for him as head of their house, calling him master, and you have become her daughters if you do what is right without being frightened by any fear. That is, being respectful towards your husband, but not giving into intimidation, nor allowing yourself to be led into sin, nor to be harmed. Got to get the context out of this. This is what I want you to think, man. There is a conduct that when it comes to the set apart women of the book, when it comes to the righteous daughters of Zion in the book, there's a conduct that follows them. You don't see rebellion. When you look at Ruth and Boaz, you don't see rebellion. You see Ruth as a virtuous woman that embodied virtue, a character and attributes that would be the example for future generations of women to follow. Ruth was righteous. You got to understand, man, Ruth was a widow. And yet here comes Boaz, warrior. Ruth had value. She had biblical value. Worldly value wasn't going to bring Boaz. Boaz was a man of righteousness. Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20. Woe, judgment is coming to those who call evil good and good evil, who substitute darkness for light and light for darkness, who substitute bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So the things of the book that's counted as righteous, when you living in rebellion, you're going to call it wickedness. I want you to understand, man, you got witches and warlocks doing all kind of deception, divination, energy, chakras, all of this stuff, and got the nerve to call righteousness wickedness. Man, you don't want to find yourself in that lane. And we know that Hamashiach is going to come to judge the world at a daytime and hour we don't know. Man, I'm telling you, when Hamashiach comes in that judgment, I'm telling you, it's going to get hot in that kitchen. Submission to Yah's will. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 14. You know, man, when it comes to in today's society, you know, submission is a curse word. It's like an offensive word. But I want you to understand, men are commanded to submit to the will of Yahshua. Man, submission is a righteous thing. And I'm gonna be honest, man, either as a daughter of Zion, you submitted to the will of Yah, or you submitted to Hasatan. There ain't no gray area. You can't straddle the fence. Man, the book talks about striving for perfection. If you ain't striving for perfection, you striving for wickedness. You can't put one leg and sit on the top of the fence like people do and have one leg, put your left foot in and your right foot out. No. There is no gray area. First Timothy chapter 5, verse 14. This is the precept right here. Listen to this. So I want younger women to get married, younger, youth. It don't say run and live your best life. Go do what you want and absorb the world. Find yourself in sin. No, it says, so I want the younger women to get married. First order of business, have children, manage their household, and not give opponent of the faith any occasion for slander. Do not give the adversary any reason to speak reproachfully. So what should the first priority be? Marriage. That's one thing a lot of daughters of Zion rebel from. I'm good on that one. Second priority, children. Building a man's house or a family. Book says a wise woman builds her house and a foolish woman plucks it down. Man, I'm tired of seeing and you're not going to get any kind of change until messages of truth rather than ear tickling. You got too many people out there saying, don't worry about it. Go ahead and have them children out of wedlock. You will be all right. That's not a truthful message. That's a deceitful message. That's a loaded marriage. That's a loaded message. But the Most High Yah gives you the answer right here. First priority is marriage. Second priority, children. Third priority, managing the house. Man, if you too busy submitting yourself to the ways of the world and in employment and career, you ain't gonna have no time. By the time when it comes to this priority, man, my feet hurt. Man, I've been doing all this work outside the house or for other people, for other priorities. And now your house looks like crap. It's not functioning the way it should according to righteousness. Fourth priority, keep yourself unspotted from the world. That means you can't be in love with everything the world offers. A lot of these trends, these fads, and all of this stuff. You're gonna stay at the bottom, spiritually, economically, financially, morally. Keep yourself unspotted from the world. You cannot be a partaker in everything worldly and still call yourself set apart. You got to set yourself apart so when people see you, they say, man, she different. She moving different. You don't want to be common to worldly women as a daughter of Zion. You want to be set apart. The curse, man, this one right here, man, I did a video, on this channel talking about how a lot of women that's constantly shouting and yelling from the mountaintop. They don't need no man. These men ain't no good. Man can't do nothing for me. A lot of them is coming forth on the internet, on TikTok, on YouTube, making videos trying to plead to the public court of opinion of how bad they want one now. And they don't even realize just because you want one don't mean you gonna get one. The curse is still upon you. They making videos, how come men won't approach us? How come men don't want to go out and take us on dates no more? Well, after you didn't showed your hind part and went against the instruction that I just gave, the precept that I just gave you, who's chasing you? Many daughters of Zion in Western cultures have cursed themselves by their independent mindset when the Most High Yah wanted the woman to be interdependent. He wanted the man to be interdependent. Man, as a husband, you want a wife that you can count on to fulfill her biblical role. As a daughter of Zion, you want a husband that you can count on for him to fill his biblical duty. Where you think that understanding of, well, I want a man that's a good provider and a man that's a good protector and a good leader comes from? That has biblical origins. The world didn't give you that. But we're going to break this independent thing down because you might be a hypocrite and don't even know it. You might be saying something contradict. You might be, woo, 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 independent, woo, 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 and wondering why you don't get no man. It's what you shouting. It's a repellent. 1 Corinthians 11:11. Nevertheless, woman is not independent of man, nor is man independent of woman. Genesis 3:16, to the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your pain in childbirth. Man, an epidural is not going to allow you to escape that. You got to understand, now they got so much convenience to try to get you away from the pain, but you ain't going to escape it. Your pain in childbirth. In pain, you will give birth to children, yet your desire and longing will be for your husband, and he will rule with authority over you and be responsible for you. Man, when you living in rebellion as a daughter of Zion and you haughty and high-minded, men are going to pass qualified, Yah-fearing, commandment-keeping men, good men. Those are the only good men out there. They will pass on you all day long because they don't want to be accountable and responsible for your rebellion. The truth about independence. Independence adjective, free from outside control, not depending on another's authority, not depending on another for livelihood or substance. When you reject the will of Yah as a daughter of Zion, you will be cursed with dysfunctional relationship. Men will reject you while you still have expectations of entitlement to a good man who is a provider, protector, and leader. You have adopted a wicked mindset that is anti-righteousness, and this is why many daughters of Zion gravitate towards lawless Babylon Christianity and are always praying for a good man but will never get one. Think about that. You got a lot of daughters of Zion praying for a good man, won't never get one. Why won't they get one? Proverbs 28:9. If one turns away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination. Lawless people don't want to hear about the law. They reject it because they're too busy setting their mind on perdition, setting their mind on lawlessness. The problem with independence. How can a household have the same collective goal if the mind of the woman is separated from righteousness and the will of Yahweh? How can a man cling on to you as a woman if your mindset is to push him away? It's simply not possible. Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. How you going to be one with somebody that don't want to be interdependent on that union, but want to do something separate? Always want to do something that ain't got nothing to do with what the collective goal is. According to the latest U.S. Bureau of Labor statistics, in April, this is 2025, 106,000 black women lost their jobs, which is the highest job loss among all demographic groups. This occurred even as the overall U.S. economy added jobs, highlighting a disproportionate impact on this group. The unemployment rate from black women also rose significantly. The elimination of diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) roles often held by black women further contributed to the job loss. I want the daughters of Zion to go back and look at this and see what race of women benefited the most from DEI. And it will shock you. And this is why I'm telling you, you cannot fall for all of the bait that these heathens dangle out there. You cannot fall for it because it's going to turn around and bite you. A reduction in federal government employment, specifically impacting roles where black women were often represented, played a significant role. Now, let me ask you something. Now, if you pride yourself on being independent, not need no help, nobody's going to advocate for you, nobody's going to help you with provision, substance, or any of that. Now, as a black man that fears the Most High Yah, why would I feel the need to support and fight for a woman that says she don't need no help from a man? Being independent means no one's coming to your aid because your mindset is you got it. That's your mindset. I got it. If I see somebody struggling and I say, man, let me help you, and you tell me you got it, then I'm going to go on about my business. I'm going to pay you no mind. That's the problem with independence. See, the Most High Yah wants man and woman to be interdependent. Interdependent, adjective, of two people dependent on each other. Hebrews 13:17, obey your spiritual leaders and submit to them, recognizing their authority over you, for they are keeping watch over your souls and continually guarding your spiritual welfare as those who will give an account of their stewardship of you. Let them do this with joy and not with grief and groans, for this would be no benefit to you. So I want you to understand, by obeying and submitting to your head, your leadership, your man, this is to your benefit. Now, if you sit up here and submit yourself to a plumb, ignorant, low down, low based fool, that's your fault. But when it comes to the righteous, man, that's a benefit for you. That's your soul's salvation on the line. Man, the book says the husband is the savior of the body. Why would you rebel against that? When he's designed to wash you with the word. What if you don't want to get clean? What if you want to be found with a spot or blemish? Cooperative and teachable. Cooperative, adjective, involving mutual assistance in working towards a common goal. You can't have a man that's interdependent and a woman that's independent. It ain't gonna work. It's just your days is numbered. Either you gonna self-eliminate or he gonna put you up out of there. It can't go no other way. Teachable, adjective, able to learn by being taught, able to be taught. See, a major problem is oftentimes you will submit yourself to every other form of man, whether it be a personal trainer, some man at work, supervisor. But when it comes home, you don't have it because your loyalty, your submission is already given in a place where it shouldn't be, when it should be to your head. And I'm backing that up with book. How can you be extremely respectful and submissive in the workplace to a supervisor, but your husband you give hell? And the reason is you're doing it for a paycheck. You're doing it for selfish desire, selfish ambition. And you don't even realize the people that you submitting to, they ain't gonna never pay your bills. They never gonna protect you. They're doing it for a paycheck, giving you them instructions. Man, this is the signs that you are unteachable. Resistance to feedback or criticism. Lack of humility. Arrogance and know-it-all attitude. Inability to learn from mistakes. Inability to learn from mistakes. I get it, man. As a woman, nobody ever taught, like a lot of our young men and women, our parents was religious, not righteous. They really didn't set us down and talk to us about the things of the book and the snares of life that we need to watch out for. So I get it. You get out here and you make a mistake due to ignorance one time, but 2, 3, 4 times, you make the same, still failing the same test. Inability to learn from mistakes. It just take 4, 5, 6 times for you to get burned and done wrong before you say, you know what, that's no good. Closed-mindedness. disregard for other feelings, need to be right. And that right there is argumentative. You know, where you shouldn't be trying to get the last word, your need to be right is going to cause you to be contentious. You going to say whatever you can to try to end it and let that be done. Oftentimes that's demonstrated by, well, I don't want to talk. You to get the last word, I don't want to talk about it more. I'm good. You don't have that say. Difficulty adapting to change. The Most High Yah said he wants to renew your mind. Change what's in your mind that's wicked and rewrite it for something righteous. Difficulty adapting to change. Defensiveness. That feedback, that criticism come, constructive or not, defensive. You could be dead wrong, defensive. What you mean? What you mean I was speeding? Ma'am, you was flying by cars. Everybody out here was doing the speed limit, and here it is. You doing 20, 30. I got the gun, the radar to show you. Defensive. Oh no, this is racism. You just targeting me because I'm a successful black woman. Untrustworthy. Man, when you are a rebellious daughter of Zion, you may think you trustworthy, but you ain't trustworthy. Unapproachable. That's a major problem the daughters of Zion are having right now. Men have realized, man, we can't approach you. Too much attitude, too much sass, too much diva-ness. And now they asking, how come these jokers ain't? We see them all the time. I'm giving them the signal, but they're looking at the way you conduct yourself, the way you carry yourself, and saying, you know what, I'm good on that. I've seen that before. That's backbiting. That thing got teeth. I'm telling you. All right, let's watch this clip right here.
Big issue I see with a lot of women, especially women who say they want to be wives. As a matter of fact, I'm only speaking to women who say they want to be wives. So if you do not want to be a wife, if you want to be a hot girl for the rest of your life, baby, you can keep on scrolling. Okay? But see, these type of women, y'all are not teaching. Especially when it comes to love and relationships, especially when it comes to listening to a man. Y'all are not teachable. And hey, Nicole, why do you say that? Because I am a life coach. I am certified in love and relationships, finances, and self-development. I have been doing so for close to a decade. Baby, when I said I have seen it all and I have heard it all, please believe me. And I want to be very clear. When I say that you're unwilling to listen to a man, I'm not talking about a random man. I'm not talking about a man on these podcasts with the mics. I'm talking about the man that you say that you want to be with. I'm talking about the man that you're spending time with. I'm talking about the man that you are opening your legs for. Y'all don't want to listen to him, right? Because you're not going to listen to no man, and no man can't tell you what to do. Okay, no problem. Because it bewilders me that you are willing to give yourself to someone, that you are willing to give your body to someone, that you are willing to exchange bodily fluids with someone who, if he says to you, baby, you know what? Can you cook dinner for me tonight? And I like my dinner cooked like this. You're going to have a problem with it. Let's make this make sense. And the crazier part is these women will not listen to the man that they chose and the man that they say they want to be with, but they will listen to their miserable ass friends who are in the same boat, in the same predicament as they are. And they'll sit around and be girls with their friends who have absolutely nothing, just like they do. I'm not just talking about not having a man. I'm talking about not having anything that they say they want out of life. You cannot say that you want to be a wife, especially when you're talking about you want that soft life and you want to be taken care of. You can't say that you want to be a wife and you're unwilling to do wifely things. And also the problem with a lot of y'all is that y'all don't really want to be a wife. You want to be married. So simple as I could put it. You want a healthy relationship? You want a good man? You want happiness? Find you a leader, first and foremost, because some of y'all be picking the men from the bottom of the barrel, okay? And two, be teachable. Be amicable. Otherwise, be lonely or be with toxic men. Stay safe.
Man, just like she said, man, I don't even have to give you the commentary. She dropped some nuggets right then and there. She dropped a whole bunch of nuggets. So we're going to keep on going.
Big issue.
Marriage. So the first order of business was, I will have that the younger women marry, bear children, guide the house, give the adversary no reason to speak reproachfully. Ecclesiasticus chapter 7 verse 25. Man, this is a conversation that I'm constantly talking to my daughter about, putting this in, because if I don't talk to my daughters about this, the world is going to put anti-marriage. They're going to put all of this other foolishness in my daughter's head, and I'm not going for it. Flat out, I ain't going for it. You know, I'm prepared. I'm prepared to be that crazy dad to where you going to try to bring some joke around me and think I'm going to be all smiles. And I'm going to be like, man, hey, before you put that meat up in my daughter, you better be willing to marry her. Or if not, I'm coming for your head. So I got to run off these ravenous wolves that is cookie jar thirsty. Because I know what the precepts of the Most High Yah is. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 25. Marry thy daughter, and so shall thou have performed a weighty matter, but give her to a man of understanding. Man, that lady just said, she was talking about the daughters of Zion love low base, low value, frequency men. So as a father, you mean to tell me I'm going to be willing to let my daughter sell herself short when I know the Most High Yah wants her blessed, wants her married, wants her to have the good provider, wants her to have the good protector? Man, you out your mind. Out of your mind. I'm not going for it. That's a problem, man. A lot of these daughters run around uncovered, no covering, nobody fighting on their behalf, and it's easy. It's easy for a little boy to creep up on you when you uncovered and to whisper all in your ear, "Oh, I make you feel so good." And no, man, you better get back. You're gonna lose a leg over here playing around. Man, I'm not going to. I'm not. You think I'm finna fight wars for this doggone country in the military, and I'm gonna just let some random Rudy Poot, low value thug think he can just goop all up in my dog? Oh no, not if I got nothing to do with it, because I know what the book says. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 22 through 24. Wives, be subject to your own husbands as a service to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Yahshua is the head of the church, the ecclesia, himself being the savior of the body. But as the congregation, ecclesia, or church is subject to Yahshua, so also wives should be subject to their husbands in everything, respecting both their positions as protector and their responsibility to Yahweh as head of the house. That's biblical order. We got so many. That woman said, man, the daughters of Zion, they love marriage but reject the wifely duties. This right here is a wifely duty. When you look at marriage, wedding, rings, all that, that's optics. That ain't got nothing to do with duty and performance. That's stuff that's got to do with you getting something out of it, but not having to show a demonstration of this duty. Man, it's simple, man. When my daughter when she's like, hey, I want to get married, I'm coming right back to this. Let me ask you something, because, you know, even though I might have been preparing you, you might not be ready at this moment. I'm not finna give my daughter away to marriage to a man that is expecting this from my daughter, and yet she's got a problem or she's conflicted in doing it. Well, Daddy, I don't feel I have to submit to no man. Well, you ain't ready to be married then. Why would I put my daughter in a situation to make a man's life a living hell when he has an expectation that this is what he's supposed to get? If you're entering into marriage thinking that you ain't got to do this, marriage is going to suck for you, but it's going to suck for you as a woman due to your own rebellion. See, this is how you can have an effective household in righteousness. Where you don't want to do this, you're going to be fighting for control as a daughter of Zion. And the Most High Yah didn't give it to you in that aspect. This is problematic for a lot of daughters of Zion right here. It's all book. Many daughters of Zion look at marriage as slavery, bondage, or servitude. I don't want to be in that bondage and slavery and serving no. Hey, I'm telling you, well, you probably ain't serving the Most High Yah either. Or servitude. You will either be a prisoner to wickedness or a prisoner to righteousness. Choose this day the way that you will go. Listen to this. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1 through 2. So this is Shaul, this is Paul. So I, the prisoner for Yahweh, appeal to you to live a life worthy of the calling to which you have been called. That is, to live a life that exhibits godly character, moral courage, personal integrity, and mature behavior, a life that expresses gratitude to Yah for your salvation, with all humility, forsaking self-righteousness and gentleness, maintaining self-control, with patience, bearing with one another in an unselfish love. He's saying, I'm a prisoner for Yahweh. So you're going to be a prisoner on either side of it. It's going to be servitude on either side. Either you're going to be serving Hasatan or you're going to be serving the Most High. You're going to have to choose. One's come with a lot of blessing and understanding how to navigate tribulations, while the other ones come with a lot of suffering and no understanding of how to navigate tribulations. Children, second order of business once you get married. Wisdom chapter 3, verse 16 through 19. But children born of adultery or a forbidden union will die an early death. Yet if they do live a long time, they will never amount to anything. They will not be respected in their old age, and if they die young, they will have no hope or comfort on Judgment Day. Children born of a forbidden union suffer a miserable fate. Now, why would you even want that for your children? He's telling you, because you have chose to do this thing, man, this is the judgment. It's selfish to put your sexual desires before this right here and knowing your children going to suffer from it. Exodus chapter 20, verse 14. You shall not commit adultery. Adultery, Hebrew word 50:03, to apostatize, to renounce a righteous principle or precept. Women that break wedlock, the state of being married, sexual purity, including virginity before marriage. This is why biblically in the Torah, man, it is a sin for, a man to give his daughter away, having the man that's taking her as a wife think that his daughter is a virgin. He goes in there to consummate marriage, which sex is the consummation of marriage, and her cherry doesn't pop. Everybody talking about, oh yeah, the father talking about, yeah, she a virgin. Wait a minute, this woman ain't no virgin. Where's the sign of the blood covenant? Let's keep going. Wisdom chapter 4, verse 1 through 6. It is better to have virtue, even if it means having no children. Your virtue will be recognized by other people in Yahweh, and you will be remembered for it forever. Virtue provides an example for people to follow. When it is not there, they miss it. It has always been the finest prize a person can win, and it is always will be so. It is the noblest of all good qualities a person can have. No matter how many children are born of a forbidden union, none of them will ever amount to anything. They are illegitimate. They can never lay a firm foundation for themselves, never take deep root. Man, that's a major problem in our community. Major problem in our community. Like trees with shallow roots, they put out leaves for a while, but they sway in the wind and the storm uproots them. Their branches snap off before they mature. Their fruit never ripens and is good for nothing. On Judgment Day, children of a forbidden union will testify to the sins of their parents and act as witnesses against them. Imagine your children sitting up there at Judgment Day talking about why they struggled in life behind your sin. Think about this. Play this clip.
I think a lot of the times what women don't want to talk about is it's like you have get more bodies. Now one day you want to settle down and try to have a happy housewife life. And it's like after having all these bodies and having all this memory of these different men going in and out of you, you think you're not going to just be able to just sit down one day and submit to a man and stay loyal to a man after you've had all those different bodies and all those different spirits going in and out of you? And then now everything that you do, every man that you attempt to date, every man that you try to settle down with, if you're even trying to do that, you're now going to judge based upon that lens. Nobody's going to measure up. You can't have multiple men and act as if you're not going to have repercussions. Some theories suggest that anytime a woman has a man, he literally leaves his genetic material in her body. Think about it, just the anatomy of a woman, right? Anytime a man is entering into her woman, times that by 10, 20, 50. Let's say you're a woman walking around with the genetic material of 50 men in your body. That ain't gonna mess up your pH balance. That ain't gonna mess up your hormones. That ain't gonna mess up your psychology. Like, we act like we can do these behaviors and there's no repercussions, and that's not real life. That's maybe what you see on televisions. That's maybe what we see in these different series. But the reality of how it impacts you, it's not just physical, it's not just emotional, it's spiritual. It impacts you on every single level.
And the truth is, sleeping with a man does change you. That's the truth. And so women don't want to accept that.
They don't.
You have to understand these things. If you are going to engage in something, you have to understand the results of it. You can't deny it. Right? You can't deny that once a man penetrates you, your body will change. Your mind will change.
Yeah. And you sleeping with multiple men, this is the reason why women are mentally ill.
All right, man. So another powerful clip right there. You know, man, there's an age, man, if you allow your children to go out into the world, whether it be, you know, sons or daughters, and they get that first taste of fornication, sexual immorality, oftentimes there's a saying by the old people, you know, they call it hot in the ass. That's what they call it. You being hot in the ass. And this is that mental illness to where you didn't got a taste of this sin, and now all of a sudden you think you know something about life. You think you know something about relationships and love. So I'm gonna keep going because you know, they're about to break. And this next upcoming clip, man, they're gonna talk about something that's even deeper, that the daughters of Zion need to pay attention to. Sexually bound, okay? I would like to give a shout out to Shez Sade on YouTube. I'll post her channel link down in the description, as she has some amazing content, man. That was the lady that was doing the main speaking. In this next clip, she's the one doing the speaking. Okay, when male DNA is found in a woman's body after pregnancy, it is referred to as male microchimerism or fetal microchimerism. This occurs because during pregnancy, cells and DNA are exchanged between the fetus and the mother. The fetal cells, including male cells from a male fetus, can persist into the mother's bodies for decades after pregnancy. Decades. Microchimerism in general is the presence of two genetically distinct cell populations in the same individual. In the context pregnancy, it refers to the persistence of fetal cells or DNA in the mother's body after birth. The cells can be found in various tissues and organs. And other parts of this are basically, when you look into microchimerism, is every man that you lay down with and you have unprotected sex and allow him to ejaculate or to orgasm in you, man, it's not absorbing through purposes of pregnancy because a child doesn't come forth. And you will find out, man, that your body, your immune system, all of this stuff will be, the sperm will be absorbed in your flesh. And this is why male DNA can be found in women well after they've been pregnant or had sexual intercourse, because it becomes a part of you. Let's keep going. And this lady right here, this is the lady that I gave a shout out to. So go check her channel out.
I didn't want to bring it up. You saw this a little bit earlier, but this is an article going back to the original question that we're kind of hashing out right now around
the offspring.
Around sex before marriage, or this idea of having a high body count. And when I posted something about this, I think a couple of weeks ago, there was this term. I think it's microchimerism or something. I probably butchered that, but it's a scientific term that kind of suggests that there can be genetic material actually left in a woman's body after she has intercourse. And so this article came out, it's from Time magazines, and they kind of reference a few different studies. But basically what it says, it's making this theory that previous sexual partners can actually affect offspring. And here, I'll read a little bit of it. It says it's been a long-held belief among animal breeders that purebred progeny are best produced by females who have never mated before. So again, saying it's like, if you haven't mated before, if you haven't been with another specimen before, then that's the best way to make sure that your offspring comes out pure. Says in breeding, it's been a long-standing practice, even though there has never been much science to back it up. Now, however, researchers at University of New South Wales in Australia believe that may finally have some evidence to give that notion some scientific support. Working with flies, Angela Crean, a research fellow at the Evolution and Ecology Research Center, picked up on her mentor's work of looking at how male factors can influence offspring outside of the DNA semen. So again, it's essentially saying that there's some scientific evidence that might be suggesting that, again, the amount of sexual partners that a woman has can actually directly impact future children and offspring.
All right, so you want the best possible chances at having righteous children and not having children of unforbidden unions. Man, they're breaking down this thing at a minute level, and I encourage you to go look it up, because the evidence is there, the studies are there, and it's alarming. All right, let's continue on. Manage the house, third order of business. Data from Pew Research shows most traditional stay-at-home mothers with a working husband are white and Asian mothers. Biblically, women are charged with keeping the house, guiding the day-to-day function of the home, teaching the children, maintaining the peace in the home. The daughters of Zion rather reject and prioritize working outside the home or worldly servile work rather than build homes. Our children are taught by others rather than being educated by our own women. With so many educated daughters of Zion achieving high levels of education, they will still have no desire to teach, to educate our own children, but will complain that the education system is failing our children. While postpartum depression, PPD, can affect individuals of all races and ethnicities, it is more commonly reported among black women. You got to understand, man. Look at what I just gave you in the meat of who is predominantly spending time with these children so they don't have this separation anxiety, postpartum depression. Think about it. If you run into that workforce, you can't take your children to work with you. So now you at work, stressed, having all kind of anxiety attacks, depression. Oh, what is my baby doing? Oh, I can't, all of this, yah. And look at what I just gave you statistically. Roll that next footage.
But you weigh the pros and the cons. And so for me, it isn't worth it to go put my kids in daycare so I can go get a 9-to-5 so I can stash money away for when my husband dies or when, he decides to leave me or something. Like, I would rather take the risk and have them home with me and, believe in my family instead of believing in the bad things that could happen. And that is just a trade-off that I think a lot of people have to choose.
Man, shout out to Dr. Daff. Man, Dr. Daff is a black woman that poses these opposing conversations and viewpoints. And this one was a clip from a interview session she did where it was boss babes, modern women, worldly women versus traditional, more of the biblical wife type. And this is a woman telling you, man, it wasn't even worth it. It's not even worth it. I don't feel it's worth it to basically go get a 9-to-5 and pawn my children off on other people. She's letting you know, okay, this is how she chooses to manage her house, while you have the boss babe or the modern woman that don't want her manage her house according to like this. Great message.
But you
role of a helpmeet. This is the part where a lot of daughters of Zion get into a marriage, and this is where they rebel. This is where marriage is hard for them because they don't have a willing heart and mind to be this. A lot of times you signing up for marriage and you wanting a man to be a helpmeet to you. When a man can list out everything that he's doing for you, and can list out very little that you're doing for him in a biblical capacity and biblical context, you got a problem. Why does he need you? See, this world has sold you can be a trophy, long as you got looks and sex appeal, you good to go. But no, there's a duty description. There's a role of a helpmeet. Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. Now Yahweh said, it is not good, beneficial for the man to be alone. I will make him a helper, one who balances him, a counterpart who is suitable and complementary for him. Suitable, adjective, right or appropriate for a particular person or purpose. If a man don't want nothing to do with you, you ain't suitable. Point blank, period. Complementary, adjective, combining in such a way as to enhance or emphasize qualities. How you gonna enhance or emphasize qualities if you yourself lack virtue? Proverbs chapter 11, verse 1. A false balance and dishonest business practices are extremely offensive to the Lord, but an accurate scale is his delight. You shouldn't be out here proud that you a single mom, single parent. You shouldn't be proud of your independence when the Most High Yah told you he wanted you to be interdependent. I gave you that. That's a false balance right there. That's what he hates. This is why you will struggle and constantly be at the bottom if that's your mindset. And this is, I'm telling you, I don't want the daughter of Zion to be suffering the fate of this. When you come, imagine he says, no, I'm looking for those that's in balance. And you all out of balance. You're not complementary. You're not suitable. You got to understand, man, I want the daughters of Zion to realize, because a lot of them are focused on stuff that's externally adorned, booty, breasts, lips, all of this waist getting sucked up and sucked out. That will get you any kind of lawless man, but you ain't going to be able to keep a man that's a good man with those things and lack character and lack virtue. Could care less about a booty, some BBL, I could care less about that. Why? Because I know the role and the duty description of a helpmeet. That's what I'm supposed to get for my righteousness as a man. So you got to understand, man, a good man will let that ink dry on that paperwork, and you can have the biggest booty out there and you think that equates for something, he going to let that ink dry. He ain't running after you fighting. No, come on, baby, and come on, be back. No, I don't want to do this. No, he going to let you walk on because he'll know he'll get further in his walk of righteousness than to have to drag you along in your rebellion. Adversary and reproach. Keep yourself unspotted from the world. That's the last order. That was the fourth priority. So the adversary or the opponent cannot speak bad about you. 1 John chapter 2, verse 15 through 16. Do not love the world of sin that opposes Yahweh and his precepts. Know the things that are in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust and sensual craving of the flesh, and lust and the longing of the eyes, and boastful pride of life, pretentious confidence in one's resources or in the stability of earthly things. Man, when you are an independent woman rebelling against the Most High Yah, man, that's where your doggone boastful pride of life is. Pretentious confidence in one's resources or in the stability of earthly things. And now we got, there are an abundance of daughters of Zion that have been successful in the world, that have prioritized career over family, and now they're coming out saying it wasn't worth it. Videos everywhere, flying out the woodworks. It was not worth it. I should have prioritized family. These do not come from the Father, but are from the world. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. And do not be conformed to this world any longer with its superficial values and customs, but be transformed and progressively changed. This is where they got to have that willing mind as you mature spiritually by the renewing of your mind, focusing on godly values and ethnical attitudes. So you can't be focused on worldly values and expectations, so that you may prove for yourself what is the will of Yah, that which is good and acceptable and perfect in his plan and purpose for you. Man, the Most High Yah didn't have it in his plan for you to be at the bottom as a daughter of Zion. Your rebellion got you there. Our rebellion as a nation is what got us there. You ain't going to reject truth and rise to fame. The world will let you think that you're rising to some great status. You can exalt yourself in the world by all of these means. But if you reject righteousness, woo, it's not looking good. James chapter 4, verse 4, you adulterous, disloyal sinners, flirting with the world and breaking your vow to Yahweh. Do you not know that being the world's friend, that is, loving the things of this world and being Yahweh's enemy, is being Yahweh's enemy? So whoever chooses to be a friend of this world makes himself an enemy of Yah. As a daughter of Zion, man, you don't want to be clinging on to everything the world gives you. Everything the world says do, you jumping. World say jump, you saying how high, all of this. I'm telling you, man, man, I did a video earlier today talking about historically, man, our people weren't celebrating no doggone independence. But you got to understand, man, if you don't have a leader that is telling you the truth about some of this stuff, you're going to fall into these snares while rejecting the feast days, holy days, Shabbats, holy convocations of the Most High. Sitting up here telling my daughter about it tonight. Man, that wasn't no holiday for us. Our ancestors wasn't popping no fireworks, eating hamburgers and hot dogs. I was telling my daughter, you will be a lot more informed of the will of the Most High Yah because you got a father that's actively making sure you know this so you don't fail. Man, it ain't a day that goes by that I'm not talking to my daughter about something that has to do with the Bible and demonstrating it unto her. Difficult times. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 through 7. But understand this, that in the last days, dangerous times of great stress and trouble will come. Difficult days that will be hard to bear. For people will be lovers of self, narcissistic, self-focused. Right now, man, there's this epidemic of all of these daughters of Zion that are on a spiritual journey. Oh, I'm on a spiritual journey. The new thing now is I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. Religion means worship. The Most High Yah wants you to worship in spirit and truth. It's perfectly fine to reject world religion because they don't worship in spirit and truth. But being on a spiritual journey while rejecting truth is going to get you nowhere. Now everybody's on this, the daughters of Zion, I'm on a self-love journey. I got to love me. While you living in rebellion, you've been on this self-love journey the whole time. Most of y'all ain't never told you to love yourself like that. Lovers of money, impelled by greed. Let's go back to verse 2. For people will be lovers of self. When you're a lover of self, when you hear somebody say, man, self-love, narcissistic, self-focused, I want you to understand that's biblical. You don't want to sit up and be listening to somebody, listening to other daughters of Zion talk about their self-love journey while they call everybody else narcissists. No. For people will be lovers of self, narcissistic, self-focused. Man, when you as a woman choose yourself over your family, narcissistic. When you choose career over your family, narcissistic. When you choose your pleasure, sexual pleasure and desire over the will of Yah, narcissistic, self-focused, lovers of money, impelled by greed, boastful, arrogant, revilers, disobedient to parents, ungrateful, unholy and profane, and they will be unloving, devoid of natural human affection, calloused and inhumane, irreconcilable. You ain't gonna be able to work nothing out. There ain't gonna be no restoration. Malicious gossip. Malicious gossip. I'm telling you, man, if you got somebody constantly calling your phone on a daily basis, let me tell you what happened. And you heard about this and heard about that. You need to reject it. Don't call my phone with that mess. It's a daughter of Zion, devoid of self-control. It's so many videos that's out here that is embarrassing. Intemperate, immoral, brutal, haters of good. Most High Yah created marriage to be righteous. He created sex to be done in the union of marriage. Man, when you rebellious, that ain't what you want to do. When you're a rebellious daughter of Zion, you got a number in your phone of somebody that can come. It can be 4 a.m. and you got a no good joker in there that's got some good digging stick, don't want marriage, don't really want to be commitment, but for you, because you got needs, come on. You said, well, it was good. It's not good according to the book. Traitors. Reckless. Traitors. Man, you a switch side. You a switch sides, for that bag. You a switch sides for that money. You a switch sides for that opportunity. Man, I saw a video recently, man, where a woman tried to give her husband an ultimatum. If you don't follow me for this new job position, we gonna get a divorce. He let that ink draw on that paper. I was like, well, she should have saw that was gonna fail. Switched up for that money, for a position. Reckless, conceited, lovers of sensual pleasures, rather than lovers of Yah. Man, I can't think about it. It was some daughter of Zion, female rapper. It was in another country, and people was looking at her like she was crazy because she was publicly yelling out, I want somebody to come scratch this kitty. I want somebody to eat this kitty. There's a video out there. Holding a form of outward godliness, religion. Rebellious daughters of Zion love religion while they reject righteousness. Although they have denied its power, for their conduct nullifies their claim of faith. You can't be sitting up here, oh, I love JC, oh, I love the Messiah, God is good, and all of this, and your conduct nullifies your claim of faith, your rebellion. Avoid such people. Listen to this. Avoid such people and keep far away from them. You wonder why won't nobody approach you. You wonder why don't nobody want the good men don't want nothing to do with you. They still acting like it's COVID, social distancing. For among them are those who worm their way into homes and captivate morally weak and spiritually dwarfed women, weighed down by the burden of their sins. So what makes you morally weak and easily taken captive as a woman? Okay? Spiritually dwarfed. What makes you that? It's the burden of your sins. Easily swayed by various impulses. You get a feeling, you get an impulse, that's the way you're going. You don't never think about, okay, which way does the book say I need to go? Which way does the Most High Yah say I need to go? Always learning and listening to anybody that will teach them. As I said, man, the daughter of Zion got more education than a little bit. But how does that play into righteousness? Ain't nothing wrong with being educated. Ain't nothing wrong with learning. But when you reject divine wisdom and righteousness to be religious and educated, worthless. Avoid such people. But never able to come to the knowledge of truth. You always learning stuff in the world, these institutions, resume jumping. Always learning and listening to anybody who will teach them. 9 times out of 10, it's somebody that's going to tickle your ears, but never able to come to the knowledge of truth. Never able to arrive at truth. That's a vicious cycle to be in mentally. Women failing women, daughters of Zion, failing other women. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3-5. For the time will come when people will not tolerate sound doctrine and accurate instruction that challenges them with Yahweh's truth, but wanting to have their ears tickled with something pleasing, they will accumulate for themselves many teachers, one after another, chosen to satisfy their own desires and to support the errors they hold, and will turn their ears away from truth and will wander off into myths and man-made fictions and will accept the unacceptable. But as for you, be clear-headed in every situation, stay calm, cool, and steady, endure every hardship without flinching, do the work of an evangelist, Fulfill the duties of your ministry. Let's play that footage. Next footage. Listen to this. This is how, in order for some views, in order for some money, man, this is how Daughters of Zion fail other Daughters of Zion with this foolishness that I'm about to play. Let me go ahead and roll that footage.
You can say what you want about me being a single mother or a baby mama, if you will, and trust me, I have heard it all. I once had a girl in college tell me that we were not the same because I was pregnant and set to be a baby mom, and she was engaged and set to be a wife, and she had the ring to prove it, and there was a reason for that. And I think about that girl often. According to Facebook, I think she's like 3 kids deep now. I just want her to know if she's watching this. While your kids are in your house tearing it up and getting on your nerves, you're going to be doing laundry every 5 minutes and the dishes the other 10. And that man is sitting on your Ashley Furniture couch putting a dent in it and sucking up all your O2. My kiddo's going to be in Florida living her best life all summer. And I'm going to be here in my house on an acre that's clean and quiet for 4 whole months. And with all my extra disposable income because I only have 1 kid, I'm going to be jet setting on a flight every other weekend, living my best life. And yeah, I'm not married yet, but I do have somebody that comes over and sluts me out whenever I want him to. He leaves with a pocket full of snacks. I leave happy, and we don't talk other than that, and I'm very okay with that. I hope your life is as charmed as mine. I hope that ring is real snug.
Man, how is that leading any daughter of Zion or any women in general to righteousness? What she did was use the deception and making it look like her life is glamorous of being unmarried and being a single mom while completely slandering the woman that prioritized marriage. That's wickedness. Plenty of videos out there like this. Let's go to the next one. Let's look at this one. This one foolishness too.
The biggest lie ever told is that just because you have been in a lot of different relations with men that nobody's ever going to want you. And that is a lie. Like, there are women out here who have had, like, what men would deem as a high body count, and they still get with them, still wife them up, still take them home to their mom. And it all boils down to is how attractive is that woman to the masses? Do other men still want her? Do other men still want to obtain her? Do other men still want to get with her? As long as other men are still wanting to get with that woman, she's always going to, like, be able to get wiped up. Always. Because men like things to have things that other men want. There's the thing about it. And women are no different. Women to them are just like freaking cars and other collectible items that they want that other men want. So you're really not even competing against other women in a sense. You're competing against the judgment of other men. For real. That's what it is. So this is just my opinion, okay? Like, take with this information what you want, and I'm not telling anybody to go do anything or to live any certain kind of lives, I'm just saying, like, men are still going to choose what they want as long as the other men want it.
And that's, man, I tell you, that's definitely, from a married man, I tell you, man, that is what a reprobate mind sounds like. Run up that body count and think and tell other women that they're going to be the exception. See, I want you to understand something, daughters of Zion. Man, the world can say you're a drop dead 10. It can say you're a 9. It can say you're an 8. You can be attractive as you tell yourself you are in the mirror. But attraction, your physical appearance will not keep a husband. It's your character that's going to keep you married. See, the daughters of Zion that's vain is always going to result the message back to vanity. It's not, and the book says, man, vanity is worthless. Vanity is, it has no value. And this is what I'm telling you. Now, I will give her a point on, man, you can physically attractive. You can pretty much get a fool to come along because he doesn't know to discern value. But once he's behind closed doors with you and realizes you don't have no virtue, it's game over. Now you're going to have to play the victim to make him look bad. Because you thought that was going to be able to go the distance. Attractive, you can't go the distance 40, 50 years in marriage because you attractive. No, that ain't gonna work. No, you got to bring virtue to the table. You got to bring certain character qualities and attributes. But this is, pandering daughters of Zion, failing other daughters of Zion. Let's keep going.
You can say what you...
Pandering men, pandering black men, failing women. Man, this stuff flies off the shelf. The #1 New York Times bestseller, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. I ain't never wanted no doggone woman that has the mind of a man. You become masculine when you sit up here trying to think like a man. Most of y'all didn't put you here to think like a man. Act like a woman, think like a woman. And look at this joke. Look at the pandering. You look at his audience. Pandering, noun. To say, to do, or to provide what someone such as an audience wants or demands, even though it is not good, proper, reasonable, etc. Ignores the truth for the sake of monetary gain, views, votes, and popularity. Derek Jackson. Ooh. Man, Daughters of Zion bought his book up. Why? Because he was tickling their ears. But guess what? Derek Jackson was a man that didn't fear the Most High Yah, didn't keep his commandments. He made his stake in the game by keeping our women at the bottom mentally, tickling your ears for money, and you bought his book. Don't forget your own crown. And then he came out and got exposed. They was able to bring receipts out. I tell you. It says in the last day they will not endure sound doctrine. They're going to look for teachers that suit themselves. This is that right there. And this ain't all of them. There's a lot more of them. Let's keep going. Pandering black churches. Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 1 through 4. Woe to the shepherds, civil leaders, rulers who are destroying and scattering the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord. Thus says the Lord Yahweh of Israel in regard to the shepherds who care for and feed my people. You have scattered my flock and driven them away and have not attended to them. Hear this, I am about to visit and attend you for the evil of your deeds, saith the Lord. Then I will gather a remnant of my flock out of all countries to which I have driven them and bring them back into their folds and pastures, and they will be fruitful and multiply. I will set up shepherds over them that will feed them, and they will not be afraid any longer, nor be terrified, nor will any be missing, saith the Lord. Man, I'm giving you the message of a shepherd, a message that's going to protect. And then you got these pandering, pulpit pimps and panderers that's leading the people astray in the black church. And I'm going to show you how they doing it. Gender imbalance. Studies and observations indicate a significant gender gap with women outnumbering men in black church congregations. One source mentions a ratio of 30% males to 70% females in many black churches. So for one, you're not about to sit up and tickle our ears and we sit back and just go for it. We ain't going for that. Leadership disparity. Despite women's strong presence in congregation, leadership roles like pastors have historically been dominated by men, although this is starting to change. What is the black church doing? Going against the will of the Most High Yah and letting Jezebel and Delilah and witches get up there and give all kind of unbiblical messages. According to the National Institute of Health, a study done by Medium, it is estimated that the black church collects over 14 million every Sunday. That's coming from 70% Daughters of Zion. But let me show you something. Man, out of those 106 black women that was laid off in the month of April that lost their job, man, when I found that, I said, man, boy, that sucks if you're uncovered. That sucks if you're uncovered. My wife could lose her job. She could get laid off. She could just flat out quit. And we would keep on going. Wouldn't nothing change. But if you uncovered, you feel 100% of that burden. And I want you to think, these churches collecting 14 million every Sunday. How many of them actually gave a portion or a piece, 1% of that money back that black women have been given? And you sit back and let these jokers tickle your ears. I want you to understand, black pulpit pimps and church panderers will deceive you out of your money. And when you find yourself in a struggle, they will tell you to pray about it. Biblical tithes was not money. You can go back in the Torah and read about that. Emotionalism in the church refers to an overemphasis on feelings and emotional experience in worship and spiritual life, sometimes at the expense of other aspects like sound doctrine and rational thoughts. While emotions are a natural part of faith, emotionalism can be problematic when feelings become the primary focus, leading to a distorted view of Yahweh and worship. So I want you to think about this. Man, the book says the Most High Yah does not dwell in temples made by the hands of man, but he says you are the temple of the living Elohim, and he dwells in you. So when you in these places and they putting it on thick with this music, saying come into this place, and man, it's emotionalism. If the Most High Yah dwells in you, man, he's with you wherever you go. They too busy trying to bring him into a building, and he's telling you in the book, I don't dwell in the temples made by the hands of men. The dangers of emotionalism. Distorted view of Yahweh. Feelings start to determine your truth. So rather than taking truth for what it is, you start to say your feelings start to shape the truth. Manipulation and false teachings, witchcraft. Lack of discernment. This is why so many doggone daughters of Zion, so many witches are attracted to Christianity because they reject the Torah. They use deception in order to make you believe that the law is done away with, but yet you can be lawless and make it into the kingdom. Witchcraft. Lack of discernment, relying on feelings rather than the Ruach HaKodesh. Shallow worship, empty worship, low bass, low frequency worship. Worship becomes focused on an atmosphere and vibes. You go in these places, they got smoke shows. It look like Disney on Ice. That's emotionalism. I want you to understand, R. Kelly can make sinful music for a lot of his music is sinful, and he uses emotionalism to provoke the feelings in you. And you got to understand, he was making this stuff based upon a mindset of being sinful. But yet people say, man, that's some good music. You got to have that R&B playlist. Ain't nothing like getting dug out to some good old R. Kelly. Lawlessness. John chapter 4, verse 24. Yah is spirit, the source of life, yet invisible to mankind, and those who worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. It ain't one or the other. Well, I'm going to just worship him in spirit and reject his truth. Nope. Got to have both. Failed by older women. Man, I'll tell you, man, as I grew up around a lot of church-going people, but some of these conversations of things in the Bible that I talk to my sons and daughters about, man, as religious as some of these folk were, man, they surely didn't teach us the fullness of the book. Just taking your children and letting them sit up in there and listen to stuff don't mean they understand it, don't mean they comprehend it. Man, it is your job as a parent, man or woman, to explain these things. Just because your children see you do certain stuff don't mean they understand. Some people are not visual learners, but you got to cover every learning method based upon what your child learning ability is to make sure they understand. If not, you're going to fail. And one reason the daughters of Zion fail is because the older women reject this right here. Titus chapter 2, verse 3 through 5. If you got a mama that was focused on living her best life and scamming and scheming and being rebellious, she ain't told you how to live righteous. She ain't had none of these conversations. She gave you that good old be independent, go out there and chase the world, be successful. You don't need no man because I ain't got one. And that's exactly what you went out there and did, and it failed you. Older women similarly are to be reverent in their behavior, not malicious, gossip, nor addicts to too much wine, teaching what is right and good, so that they may encourage the young women to tenderly love their husbands and their children. I'm going to be honest with you. If you got a mama as a daughter of Zion that did not meet the criteria of being the biblical wife, being a righteous helpmeet, a set apart wife, how's she going to teach you to do it? Verse 5, to be sensible, pure, makers of a home, And for a lot of daughters of Zion that have come into the truth, man, they have had to learn the ways of righteousness just like I came into it. My father wasn't in my life having these conversations. Man, this is what you look for. Man, you look for a virtuous woman. Don't worry about the physical, man. You look for the virtue. That's what the book talk about. I didn't have that to learn the hard way through struggle. When you mean to tell me you've been celebrating all these mama's days and Father's Day and all of this foolishness, and they didn't even teach you how to survive in the book? Come on. I'm telling you, right now we got a generation of grannies that wanna be rump shakers. You got grannies, your daughter, older women that conducting themselves like they OnlyFans models. Verse 5, to be sensible, pure, makers of a home. Come on, man. Where Yahweh is honored, good-natured, being subject to their own husbands, so that the word of Yah will not be dishonored or blasphemed. If the older women weren't, if your mama or grandmama wasn't striving for this, man, they ain't gonna be able to show you this. And it's sad, man, because one of the things, nobody wants to do is we want to be able to look at our mothers and fathers as an example, but in our community, man, come on. Let's just face it. When you line your parents up against the book, contrary to how religious they were, you're going to realize, boy, they wasn't walking in no truth. They was not walking in no truth. They were just regular church attendees, that had a form of godliness, but denied the power of. They rejected obedience to the word of the Most High. I'm telling you, man, if your mama didn't even talk that, like, this stuff that I'm giving you is simple. It's elementary. And if your mama claims to love the Most High Yah, to be a godly woman and all of this, I'm a Proverbs 31, and didn't even teach you some of this, and I'm telling you, they failed you. They failed you, man, and it's painful. Because you enter into this world and you really don't even know what you're getting yourself into because you ain't been prepared. You've been dressed with fine garments, name brand garments, putting a roof, preparing a child for, providing for a child. It also means understanding. You got to get them understanding. Daughters of Zion weren't given understanding. You got to understand, man, if you had a mama that hated men, man, she pretty much permitted you from having a relationship with your father. 9 times out of 10, a lot of daughters of Zion have been sold lies about their father to find out that their father was actually good men, but the fathers wasn't willing to tolerate the foolishness of the mama. Think about what that did for you as a daughter of Zion when your first love that you were supposed to feel was supposed to be from your father. The hugs that you were supposed to be getting, the embracing that you were supposed to be getting was from your father. But because you didn't have that kind of structure, man, you go out there and find it in the wrong places. I want you to think, man, as a daughter of Zion, I want you to think about, did your mama tell you more of what to get out of a man or what to look for in a man? That's two different things. It's easy for somebody to say, man, a lot of daughters of Zion got to get you a man with some money. get you a man with some money. You got to understand, a prostitute can get a man with some money, but she can only get a trick. She can't get an upright, righteous, set apart man because he acknowledges, man, that's a sexually immoral woman. That's a harlot. That's a Proverbs 5. That's a Proverbs 7, man. That's a woman that is in the attire of a harlot, always want to be in them streets. Many of the daughters of Zion, they mamas they sold them some bad wisdom. They sold them some earthly wisdom. You too young to get married, go get you an education. And what'd you do when you ran out to get that education? It's getting your freak on, freak off parties. Sold a bad bill of goods. Ways daughter of Zion fail you. This is other, okay? This is the older. Not giving you an example of being virtuous. Man, that's virtue is a breakdown of certain righteous characters the Most High Yah wants women to have. Teaching and demonstrating rebellion. If your mama ain't submissive and a helpmeet, she ain't gonna tell you to go out there and do that. That'd be hypocritical. So a lot of daughters of Zion got taught rebellion. They saw rebellion. Teaching you to be entitled and unaccountable. Teaching that you deserve the best while having to do nothing. If a man gives you constructive criticism because he loves you, which a good leader should do, they told you, oh no, you ain't got to take that. That's abuse. Teaching you you don't need no man. You don't need no man. I ain't got one. You don't need one neither. You can't make this stuff up. This is our older women. Teaching you need more education than divine wisdom. I tell you, man, if you think a man, a good, righteous, set apart man is interested in your education and you don't have virtue, man, you done lost your mind. Teaching and demonstrating hatred towards men. It's crazy. Teaching you worldly independence rather than obedience to Yahweh's will. Promoting and participation in worldly religion rather than equipping you to live righteous. Choosing singleness so you never have an example of functional marriage. That's selfish. How can the daughters of Zion understand what it looks like outside of stumbling and struggling, having to learn through struggle, if we were supposed to have parents that love the Most High so much? Never teaching what to look for in a good man. You got to understand, man, as for daughters of Zion that grew up in 2-parent households and your family was religious and nobody in that house actually talked about like this, what I'm talking about, man, they failed you. They failed you. You will become a victim of lawless men. You grew up seeing a mama bring men through the house and you was told these men was your uncle. But you only saw him a couple times. What happened to Uncle Tyrone? What's another way they fail you? Sitting up promoting single motherhood is an honor and achievement. It's not no achievement. It's not no honor. As a man, having children out of wedlock is not an achievement. Having children of a forbidden union as a man that claims to love the Most High is not an achievement. But this is the stuff that all of the doctrine that are in rhetoric that the daughters of Zion push on other daughters of Zion. It keeps them at the bottom. You should be a single mother by choice too and expect a soft life. You should rebel against the Most High Yah and expect yourself to be in a soft girl era. Ain't nothing soft about that. That's going to be hard. Selection in men, man. I'm going to break this down because I know some daughters of Zion, nobody never talked to you about this. Like, I want you to understand, man, ain't nobody never, every time that I was younger and dating, nobody actually, if people around me had the Ruach HaKodesh, they would have had discernment and said, hey, no, that ain't it. You're doing it wrong, nephew. Son, you're doing it wrong. Grandson, you're doing it wrong. But let's face it, man, we didn't have this kind of teaching because the people that we came up under was more religious than righteous. So I'm gonna break this thing down for you. Selection in men. Yah-fearing and commandment keeping. A lip service worshiper is no good. A lip service worshiper thinks that they love the Most High Yah while rejecting everything that the Most High Yah tells them to do. You don't want that kind of man. Listen to me. And it's not you be sexually immoral until you get your husband. No, wait. Talk to your daughters. For daughters of Zion that have daughters out here, talk to your daughters and sons too. Wait. Your problem, when you start having sex outside of marriage, that's where all your problems gonna stem from. So selection in men, you want a man that's Yah-fearing and commandment keeping. Okay? Willing to grow in his walk with Yahshua. When you meet him, he ain't going to be perfect. You ain't going to be perfect neither. But the book says strive for perfection. So you want a man that's willing to grow in his walk with Yahshua. Individual of obvious integrity. Integrity is a building block of accountability. Okay? A righteous leader. Every man that's a leader ain't good. What if he's a leader that's not submitted to the will of the Most High Yah? It is leading you to the way of the world. He'll allow you to do all kind of abominations and lead you to it. A righteous leader. A servant leader. A leader that's willing to lead by example. A leader that makes sure that he is qualified and understanding before telling you to do things. So he can teach you. You know, he can be in a service to you. When you look at the husband and wife role, these are servant roles. It's not that just the woman is a servant to the man. Every day when a man goes out and works to be a provider, man, that's a service to those he covers. Demonstrates humility. Sacrificial love for his family. Man, I tell you, you got the worst case you want to find yourself with is a man that is his wrestling in his mind. Do I buy these expensive tennis shoes or do I pay these bills? You're gonna be in a bad spot. You're gonna be dealing with evictions, stuff getting cut off because you got a man that can't prioritize the basics. So you want a man that's willing to sacrifice for his family. Man of prayer. A man that's going to cover his family in prayer, cover you in prayer, to wash you with the word so you can be found without spot or blemish. A man that studies the word to increase understanding. If he loved the Most High and is so religious, he should be able to tell you something of the book. He should be able to know his role as a man. He should have studied that. You know, a man that says he's godly and sits up and tolerates and allows you to be rebellious is not a godly man. How is a man going to wash you with the word so for your salvation's sake you can be found without spot or blemish, but yet he don't never open the book? I tell you, man, if you young, you know, and a man says he loved the most, you know, when I first came into this walk, you know, the first thing I had a couple Bible apps that would give me a daily passage. That's a great starting point for a man because you got to think of all the other stuff that he could have on his phone, but yet he's getting a daily verse or something to try to keep him rooted. You got some of these men, they'll swear up and down, oh, I'm religious. They have cross pendants on and everything, cross chains, God, all of this stuff, and don't know nothing about what they're supposed to be doing. How's he going to be able to lead you in righteousness? A protector and a provider. Okay? Just a man saying he is a protector has no value. A lot of daughters of Zion has settled for pure sissies. You know, these men, man, man, I saw, it had to be about 2 weeks ago. Man, I saw a woman, this is a daughter of Zion and a black man, and I saw this man sitting in the car while his woman was under the hood. He's sitting in the passenger seat, probably on his phone, while his woman is out, you know, on the road, on the curb, trying to figure out what's going on with the car. I've even seen and had to get out and help men sitting in the car, had the woman pushing the car as this broke down. I said, man, what is wrong with you? Like, in my mind, what is wrong with you? You got to understand, man, you want the man, okay, if we're walking, I'm going to give you some basics, man. You know, when I'm in a parking lot and there's cars backing out, I don't want my family I don't let them walk on the side of me where cars is blazing by. I need to be there to be, the book says, be a living sacrifice. So if you ain't willing to get out in front of nothing for the protection of others, where's the sacrifice? Provider. Man, you don't want to be, when it comes to your selection in men, you know, just because a man got a little short time, he might have a bankroll short time, but you want a man that consistently provide. Consistently. Stable job. But I tell you, man, too many daughters of Zion fall for men that have short-term money through scheming, through scamming, through drugs, through unrighteousness, and you turn a blind eye to where they get their money from. And then you come to find out they got to do some time, and they can't be the men that you expect them to be because of the life that they lived. I tell you, man, you know, and when it comes to money, money is not the end all be all. You shouldn't just want a man because he's tall and he got money. What if he don't have no virtue? What if he don't have no character? Just because a man got money don't mean he want to spend it all on you. You choose a man that's got the wrong character. Man, I have no problem whatsoever making sure my family has whatever they need. Keyword needs. I'm not going around here buying Birkin bags and all of that foolishness. But we always going to have a roof overhead. We always going to have some food in the refrigerator. Always going to have lights on. And I'm not going to complain about doing it because I know my biblical role as a man. As a man, when you're up and you're looking for a man, you know, you be a fool as a daughter of Zion to expect a young man, you know, early 20s, 21, to have a whole lot because he ain't spent no time building nothing. Ask for yourself. That's kind of like that'd be foolish of me as a man to look for a daughter of Zion who's 21 to have a well-established family when you have spent no time establishing anything. I tell you, man, give some of these men chances, man, that are showing true interest in you. If you are a daughter of Zion that's constantly choosing these men that have failed you, give some of these other men a chance, man. I'm giving you the criteria. You looking at him right now and you might be saying, oh, he dusty and, you know, he really don't make no money. But, hey, he's willing to take the money that he has to provide the basics for you and you reject that? I tell you, man, as you get older as a daughter of Zion, these opportunities they're going to dwindle. They're going to dwindle. And the deeper you go into this pit, you know, you become a target. Man, I was watching a video the other day where a man said, man, I can target, it was a black man. He said, I can target single mothers because I can tell. I see that car seat in the back. I see you pushing a foreign whip and you at the gas pump putting $5 in the gas tank of 93 octane. And right now, $5 of 93 octane don't get you far. He said, I knew you an easy target. You need somebody to come in and charm you real quick. And he was like, he was saying pretty much that's how he can get women easily to give in to sex. I said, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's not who you want to be entertaining. Okay, a man of his word. Man, I got this little board. I got a video on this channel where I encourage men to have some kind of notebook, some kind of keep notes of when you give your word. You know, man, you got to get it done. There's things that I put on that board and I put dates beside them and I hold myself accountable for it. You know, things that I know my wife is counting on me for, man, I write it on that board. And as soon as I turn out the bed, there it is right there. That way I can keep my word. We're human, man. You can get so caught up in life and forget stuff, but you want a man of his word. That's all I got as a man is my word. You don't want to choose a man that's telling you I'm going to be at home at a certain time and you constantly got to deal with him out in the strip club, him ripping and running these streets and vice versa. At the same time, I want you to understand something. There is a opposite side of characteristics that you need to possess as a woman, and it stems with being virtuous. It stems with being a set apart woman to where you can attract this kind of man. Because oftentimes, if you out here living rebellious, you attract rebellious men. So you want a man of his word. If you're a woman that don't keep your word, don't be surprised if you're a woman that does not keep your word and you constantly giving lip service, smooth speech, and never living none of it. Don't be surprised if you're constantly getting these men that can lead you into giving up your body and selling you a dream of we gonna get married down the road, and you ain't never been married. This is the reason why you attract those kind of men. Let's keep going. Discipline. Man, you want a man that's disciplined. It's not hard. You know, a man that you don't have to constantly tell you need to go to work. You got daughters of Zion that have to tell men, hey, you need to get up off your fourth point of contact and you need to go get a job. That's a bad place to find yourself in when you have to teach or trying to teach a grown man. You ain't even supposed to be in that relationship. You got to teach him. Like, there ain't once where my wife had to tell me you got to go to work. Especially not being in the military, and discipline is a part of it. Man, I had to get up and go to work. But let me tell you something. You have men in our community that have discipline. But because it doesn't have the optics of how you want it to look, these men never get a shot. Hard working and laboring. I ain't running from no work. I ain't running from no labor. My wife will tell you, man, it can be blazing hot. It can be 105 degrees. If I got something to do, I'm going to go get it done. I'm going to just sip water along the way and get it done. I'm not ducking no smoke. You know, a lot of daughters of Zion, you choose these entitled, effeminate men that don't want to work hard and sacrifice for the family. You got a husband that want to be a YouTuber, don't even have a YouTube channel, ain't got no videos, ain't monetized, and meanwhile sit around and do that all day and make you work and go out into the world. Man, you lost your mind. Emotionally stable, a sound mind. You got to understand, man, and men that aren't emotionally stable will haul off and cold cock you. And then come with that, baby, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. Well, you sure felt like you meant to do it. It wasn't like you just got close to me and then stopped. No, you actually went through it. You're not dealing with men with a sound mind. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. A man of restraint. You got to understand, man, as a man, if I ask my wife, where do I go? If she has to wonder where I am, I'm probably at Lowe's. I'm probably at work. If I ain't at home. Lowe's and work. Because I'm always building something. Always building something. Check out Rocker Family Homestead on YouTube if you want to see what laboring looks like. I've always got a long list of stuff that needs to be done on the homestead. So I have time to be, I tell you, as a Yah-fearing, commandment-keeping man, you know, it was Paul that talked about avoiding men in the congregation, or men that call themselves believers but still live lives of sexual immorality. So I'm telling you, you want a man of restraint. He don't have no interest in wanting to go to that strip club. Man, I tell you, man, if you choose the wrong man and you're having problems, what you're going to realize is this man wants to be in the way of the world. He's going to want to be in a strip club. He's going to want to be all where the women at and all of this, where the hoes at. Man, I'm good on all of that, man. I want to be where my family at. I want to be at work so I can provide for my family. I'm telling you, man, I know, you know, man, a lot of men fall into these snares because they're not taught righteousness. But you want a man of restraint that says, you know what? I need to restrain from that. Just because it's coming at me don't mean I need to take it. I know that right there. I refuse to be a trick. You mean to tell me I'm finna take the money that can be provided for my household and to make sure everybody in my household have what they need? And you want me to come up in the strip club and throw them bands? I can't do it. I can't do it. I'd rather take my excess and buy some lumber from Lowe's. I can tell you the 3-inch screws that I get now, hey, that box is $46. I'm telling you, I can't even tell you. You want a man of restraint. Content with the basics rather than covetous. A lot of y'all choosing these covetous men that's got you living in poverty while they walking around with Jordans, $200 jeans on, and you hearing gunshots in your neighborhood. You want a man that's content with the basics. This shirt right here, $5. Got it from the feed store at Woods. I buy clothes when they on the clearance rack at Tractor Supply in Atwoods, which is a local feed and farm store. I could care less about brand. You want somebody that's content with the basics rather than covetous. Why? It's just a shirt. Problem solver and solution based. Woo. Man, as a daughter of Zion, if you're selecting men that aren't solution based and problem solvers, how they gonna help you? As a woman, you gonna have some problems, but the blessing of having a husband is, man, he can use his logic to help you navigate these problems. You know, one day your mind might be all over the place and I put the car in drive and it ain't moving. I don't know why this is happening to me. Husband can come out there and use light and say, hey man, you got the e-brake up. You didn't remove the parking brake. Man, what kind of fluid do I need to make the stuff squirt on the windshield? Man, come along. Hey, you need some windshield wiper fluid. You want a man you don't want no sorry man that just have you trying to figure out all this stuff. You know, stuff constantly breaking around the house and he don't even want to lift a finger to do nothing with a flathead or a Phillips head screwdriver. You want a man that is a problem solver and solution based. You want a man that has the innate desire to want to fix problems. Because you're going to get more blessings out of a man like that than a man that just sit up and talk about what you want me to do about it. Peacemaker. Man that likes to keep peace in the home. You don't want no man that's constantly bringing outside foolishness in the home. A man that's constantly at war with all these people, man. You don't want that. You want a man that values leadership over likability. I tell you, in this message right here, man, I don't give a damn about no likability. I don't give a damn if you like it or not, but that's just the way I am as a righteous man of Yah. I value leadership over likability. Not once as an Army drill sergeant did I say, hey, man, I want all these basic trainees to like me. No, it was about getting them to the end destination of graduation. It was about transformation. So I want you to understand, a daughter of Zion, there's going to be something in you, in your flesh, that may not like the man that's actually good for you. The man that's not good for you, you will actually like. But you ain't going to respect him. You will talk about him like a dog, but you like him. You love him. But he ain't going to wash you with the word. The last one, actions and fruit producing. A lot of daughters of Zion choose these men and they say, well, he had potential. Who ain't born with potential? We all got potential. It's just you want somebody that's living up to their potential. You want a man that's action and fruit producing. Bears good fruit. You know, you don't want a man that's giving you all these words and no action. I got some videos on this channel talking about why he won't commit to you. He's constantly stringing you along. Yeah, we gonna, you know, just give it another year. It's been 10, 12 years and y'all still ain't exclusive. You up in the air about what your relationship is. He getting all the milk from the cow and you still in limbo. Man, you want a man about actions. If a man is serious about you, he's gonna put an offer down. Truth of the matter is, man, oftentimes when a man puts that offer down, you know, a lot of daughters of Zion have rejected the offer because you weren't expecting it to come. You thought you had time. And if you reject these offers, guess what's going to happen? They're going to take that offer. You're going to say no. You're going to try to drag and slow play it. Well, let's do it on down the road. He's going to say, you know what? Nope. I'm going to go find somebody else that want this offer. Now you trying to spin the block and you like, oh, snap, that brother done got married on me. I want you to understand, if you got a willing heart and willing mind, you're going to be good. But if you don't have one, you ain't going to make it. This list ain't going to help you if you ain't got a willing heart and mind. You ain't got virtue, ain't striving for it, it ain't going to help you. Sirach chapter 11, verse 2 through 20. Do not compliment a man on his good looks. On the other hand, do not look down or hate or arbor a man who is unattractive. Everything on that list that I gave you didn't have nothing to do with looks, height, sex, none of that. It had nothing to do with it. But I told you what to look for in a good man. I'm telling you, the days that we're seeing these daughters of Zion publicly get online and say, I didn't want him because of his shoes. And some of these men meeting some of these qualifications that I gave you, and you rejecting them because his pants and his shoes? What man wear the same pair of shoes every day? What man wear the same pair of pants every day? You gonna change them, right? Do not compliment a man on his good looks. A lot of y'all want these vain, good-looking men that don't fit the build of what I'm talking about. See, virtue is beautiful. All of this stuff that's on the external, Most High y'all don't care about. You want somebody that's pleasing to the Most High Yah. What good is a man that's pleasing to your eye but ain't gonna lead you to the kingdom? How you call yourself a godly woman and that's how you moving? Compared to the most flying things, a bee is very small, but the honey it makes is the sweetness of foods. Don't make fun of someone who has fallen on hard times and is dressed in rags. I want you to understand, man, you know, while other races of women are securing marriage early on, and this is how by the time you in your 30s, they already got 15 years, 20 years under their belt. You don't need to be sitting on roasting these men because they in rags one day because they starting off. They in the basics because a man increases, like as he establishes himself, he's going to do better for himself. So he might look dusty today, and I want you to understand, he might look dusty, he might look lame, whatever you think. But once you hit 30, 35, 40, you're going to be trying to spin the block to find these same jokers because all the jokers that you didn't exhausted ain't worth a dang. The Lord does wonderful things that human beings never notice. Many are the kings who have ended their careers sitting on the ground while their crowns were worn by those no one had heard of before. So I want you to understand, there's kings out here that you might not even be recognizing and seeing as a woman. But it's them characteristics, it's that virtue that's going to set them apart. Many are the rulers who have suffered disgrace. Many are famous people who have fallen into the powers of others. I told you, man, you want a Yah-fearing, commandment-keeping man. And then that was the first part, and then everything else went in alignment from that. The feeling of love versus the action of love. As a daughter of Zion, it is important that you understand love according to the will of Yah and not the way of the world. Too many of our women have given themselves to spiritually void men who can use manipulation and deceit to cause you to give your body away, bring forth children based upon something they made you feel, while never demonstrating a biblical type love that demonstrates their willingness to commit to you in marriage. Lawless men know how to deceive you with charm and sweet nothings, keyword nothings. Sweet nothings. They sound sweet to your ears, but it ain't nothing. And this will talk your panties down. Then it give you these sweet nothings and a hand in the right place, it's game over. You be sitting there talking about, I had your baby, and this man ain't committed not a thing to you. Give yourself away in marriage to the man that bears the good fruits of repentance rather than those who simply have potential, since we are all born with the potential to please Yah. Do not fall for vanity while never discerning a man's character. Man, if you're a vain woman, a very vain woman, according to biblical standards, man, you're going to be attracted to vain men. You're going to be attracted to worthless men. Your vanity is worthless. Most High y'all don't care about how much value you put on your vanity. You're going to attract worthless men. Here's another one, man. I'll tell you a story about this one, man. I remember, man, when my daughter was about 4 years old, I was walking in the mall. That was back when malls wasn't getting shut down like they are now. But I was walking through the mall, and I think we parked at a J.C. Penney's, and we was cutting through. And man, this effeminate or gay man was like, man, you know, let me fix your daughter's face. And I'm telling you, those are fighting words. Most High Yah made my daughter beautiful. He was at one of the makeup kiosks, thinking he was about to put his effeminate hands on my daughter's face, transfer that wicked spirit. I'm like, man, ain't nothing wrong with my daughter's face. Daughter's beautiful, man. And that's that wickedness, man. And when it comes to the fascination with gays, man. As daughters of Zion, you gotta understand, man, you'll get your hair done by these gay men. As a man, I'm not going to no gay barber. Even though I've been cutting my hair for the longest time, cut all my children's hair. I'm not going to that, man, how you finessing all on my head. But I've wondered why the daughters of Zion are most accepting of gays and lesbians and anything considered an abomination biblically. The reason is the rebellious daughters of Zion are attracted to lawlessness. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13, if a man lies intimately with a male as if he were a woman, both men have committed a detestable, perverse, unnatural act, and they shall most certainly be put to death. Their blood is on them. Most of y'all calls it an abomination in the King James Version. Why would you be sitting up befriending these type of men? Why would you be sitting up getting your face done by these type of men? Don't nobody like a gay or lesbian woman like a daughter of Zion. I don't be fascinated with them. I know what spirit is up on. It's a spirit that's spread like a wildfire. Shame on you, man, if you sitting up taking relation advice from a straight faggot, a sissy, a whole lesbian. Bro, what's she gonna be able to tell you about this righteousness that I'm giving you? Let's roll this clip.
They like dating masculine guys.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Terrible. Being with Tiante, I've learned that it's best to be with a feminine man because they understand you more. It's hard trying to teach a masculine man how to feel sometimes or how to treat you. I don't have to worry about that. I mean, we just kind of dress alike sometimes, and that's really the only thing. He's who he is.
She was usually like dating masculine guys.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, man, you can't make this stuff up. That's why I told you I'm coming with receipts. You can't make it up. Let's keep going. Continue. You mean to tell me you'd rather be with a man that will not inherit the kingdom than a masculine man? Many daughters of Zion want to be with a man they can control and rule over. When a good man does not submit to her, she is ready to abandon the relationship and play the victim. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9. See, you ain't gonna be able to play the victim with no gay man. Because he in the mindset, I'm a woman too. I'm feminine too, so I'm gonna be a victim. Y'all, just two victims. Y'all ain't no resolution. 1 Corinthians 6, 9. Do you not know that the unrighteous will not inherit or have any share in the kingdom of Yahweh? Do not be deceived, neither the sexually immoral, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate by perversion, nor those who participate in homosexuality. So these sweet feminine men, hey, these folk ain't inheriting the kingdom. These men is not inheriting the kingdom. You befriending these, I don't give a dang how much both of y'all talk about God. Hey, you ain't coming to the kingdom thinking you finna dive in somebody's butt or munch some carpet. It ain't finna happen. So this fascination with gays and lesbians and getting out marching for all of this abomination, I'm telling you. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 12. I do not allow a woman to teach or exercise authority over a man, but to remain quiet in the congregation. You heard what that woman said, man. She's talking about I can't teach or get a masculine man to do what I want him to do. That's why I told you. You like these rebellious, low value, low base men because you want to control them. You want to have authority over them. That ain't gonna work. No good man worth his weight in gold, no righteous, Yah-fearing, commandment-keeping man is gonna let a woman rule over him. That's contrary to the book. Many daughters of Zion have admitted to having good men and their role in taking these men through the ringer. Often the daughters of Zion arrive at truth once the damage has been done and it's too late for some. The truth is many black men that love black women face the most persecution from our own women. In attempts to do you good, according to the will of Yah, we are reciprocated with rebellion. Fallacy. Noun. A mistaken belief, especially one based on unsound argument. And that is the fallacy of there is no good black men out there. Let's roll that footage. Let's see.
The men that y'all claim don't exist no more, I had that type of man. I had him. And I lost him because I was stupid, foolish, young, immature, possessive, mean, with a nasty attitude, ungrateful, entitled, and ignorant. The men that y'all claim don't exist no more, I had. The men that y'all...
Let's keep going.
In this landmark study from the Center for Disease Control, which debunked many of the myths surrounding black fathers, it found that the majority of black fathers live with their children. Black fathers are more likely to help their children with their homework, prepare meals, bathe and dress their children compared to fathers of other races. So the absent or deadbeat black father myth that many in America believe is really more like a lie.
Hey, I've got a video on this channel, you know, I think it's titled Black Men Rejecting Torah, and it's pretty much dedicated to the brothers that are deadbeats in our community. Yeah, it's flat out. You know, so don't think that I cut it only on one side and don't have balance on this thing. So go check that video out, because I got an example for daughters of Zion to be able to realize the man that you should not let impregnate you, you shouldn't give your body to, because you're not going to get blessed based upon choosing a low value man. But statistically, let's go with this. Black fathers, particularly those living with their children, demonstrate high levels of involvement in various caregiving and engagement activities. For instance, a CDC report revealed that black fathers were most likely to engage in activities like bathing, dressing, changing diapers, or helping with the toilet every day, 70% compared to white 60% or Hispanic 45% fathers. They also showed higher rates of eating meals with children and taking them to activities daily. Among non-residential fathers, black fathers are more likely to spend and engage in activities with their children than Hispanic fathers, and they share responsibilities and demonstrate more effective co-parenting compared to Hispanic and white fathers. While African American fathers show high overall rates of involvement, this often occurs through negotiated visitation. Bad attitudes. I want to address this, man. You cannot constantly, as a daughter of Zion, be in a piss poor attitude and say that you got the fruit of the Spirit. Galatians chapter 5, verse 22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit, the result of his presence within us, is love, unselfish concern for others, joy, inner peace, patience, not the ability to wait, but how we act while waiting, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 4. But let it be the inner beauty of the hidden person of the heart, with the imperishable quality and unfading charm of a gentle and peaceful spirit, one that is calm and self-controlled, not over anxious, but serene and spiritually mature, which is very precious in the sight of Yahweh. All right, let's roll this footage.
Women today are a lot more aggressive. We have become what I call men in skirts. We are so aggressive, so demanding. But women really aren't aware of their power, because our power as women is silent. I find women to be mean as hell. I'm sorry.
You know, there was another video, man, where she was talking about selfish communicators. You know, the reason you have a problem thinking men are bad communicators because you only want to listen to things that's pleasing to your ears. Let's roll that next clip.
If you're a man and you feel that the woman that you're dating or talking to is not submissive enough, or she doesn't show her feminine side enough, it's kind of on the man. A woman will let down that guard if she feels safe around that man.
So is it fair for a man to say, I would provide, protect, and do everything for you if you maybe feel like you were feminine? You know, it wouldn't never happen if we held back.
Men can never lead in their femininity until they meet the right woman that can make them masculine. So I don't know why the roles are so flipped on a reverse. I'm in my masculinity until I can meet a man that can make me feminine. It just sounds crazy to me. Like,
man, I guarantee you I ain't walking around like I got some sweet and low because I'm looking for somebody to make me masculine. Man, I'm gonna be masculine, do masculine things, you know, regardless. That's a spirit that's in you, but this is the nonsense.
No one can hold black women accountable. Black women, unfortunately, we have adopted this mentality that I can do whatever I want to do and can't nobody tell me anything. And this is why we are where we're at. We live in a very selfish, egotistical society now that nobody cares.
Telling you. Hey, nothing but straight facts.
Women today are a lot more.
Let's keep going. Vanity and deception. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 3 through 4. Your adornment must not be merely external, with the interweaving and elaborate knotting of the hair and wearing gold jewelry, or being superficially preoccupied with dressing in expensive clothes, but let it be the inner beauty of the hidden person of the heart, the imperishable quality and unfading charm of a gentle and peaceful spirit, one that is calm and self-controlled, not over anxious, but serene and spiritually mature, which is very precious in the sight of Yahweh. So when you think about that right there, at the beginning of this, man, I talked about how the daughters of Zion was haughty and high-minded. What made them haughty and high-minded was not only their rebellion, but their placing value in stuff that was superficial. And when we look biblically, man, we're told not to follow the way of the Egyptian. We're told not to follow the way of the heathen. You know, the way of the Egyptian woman was very vain, was very preoccupied with external adorning. You know, rather than having virtue, rather than having character, rather than having integrity, rather than having a gentle, quiet, meek, submissive, modest spirit, they was more focused on physical attributes and things like that. And oftentimes the daughters of Zion don't even realize that a lot of the things that you love according to the world come from Egyptian culture. And this is the stuff that you got to reject and make sure you're focusing on, focusing on virtue, focusing on having good character. You know, you may walk around saying you got a good heart and you a kind person, but who validated that? Is the word of the Most High Yah validating that? Did a man that's had to dwell with you validate that? Or are you just simply sitting up, you and your girlfriends talking about y'all all good and you can't get yourself out of a bowl of Jello? Somebody got to validate it. Like, for me to consider myself a Yah-fearing, commandment-keeping man, I got to fear the Most High Yah, and it has to be a demonstration of keeping the commandments. But when you're so preoccupied with, you know, hairdos and jewelry and clothing, and now we in that body era. You got folk thinking that a BBL is gonna land you the husband of your dreams, and it's not. You're getting these plum fools. You getting these plum fools that just want to fulfill their sexual desires. Then they out making videos talking about you don't even know how to wipe your big enhanced booty enough. Telling you, man. It's all deception. I want nothing to do with any form of deception. As a man, I don't even put no hair, none of that mess. I ain't walking. And nowadays, man, you got the brothers out there. Some of them walk around and weave too. I don't want nothing to do with it. Get that crap away from me. It's all vanity and deception. I don't want nothing to do with no falsehoods. I want real hair, natural arms, natural waist, natural backsides, natural everything. Just the way the Most High Yah, natural teeth. I don't want you to have no Party City veneers. Every 2 years, them things falling out, and because you didn't got a back porch Craigslist teeth job. Hey, I tell you, man, the Most High Yah, he doesn't give a dang about it. Like, he's not counting all this superficial stuff that Daughters of Zion be looking at. He don't care nothing about it. You got Daughters of Zion dying on these tables because they getting these $800 BBL jobs, and you getting stuffed with construction adhesive. You getting filled up with spray foam, housing insulation, window sealant. You getting bathroom and kitchen. What's that stuff called that you put around the trim? You getting gooped up with all that kind of stuff. You getting doggone elbow, underarm meat sucked up, sucked out, and put. And I'm telling you, man, this is wild. Some of this stuff that's out there is wild, man. Man, I saw a video where these children was laughing at a woman because she had one of these cartoon booties, Daughter of Zion. Sitting up there trying to justify this, and you got this behind that look like it's supposed to belong to a 300-400 pound woman on some 100-pound legs, 100-pound body. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. And this is why the Most High Yah said He gonna strike you with baldness. Handbags and all of this foolishness. Placing that stuff at a priority. Meanwhile, we're rejecting having a spirit that He wants you to have. Psalms 119, 104, from your precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way. This is David right here. He rejected every false way. I want natural eyebrows, natural eyelids, natural nails, natural everything, just the way the Most High Yah put it here. Ain't nothing wrong with it. It's beautiful the way He made it. For you to sit up and do all this stuff to yourself, constantly paint your face, you're sitting up saying the Most High Yah made it doggone wrong. It's a reason you love the same stuff that the gays and homosexuals do. These transvestites and transgenders be doing. To deceive people. They put the same MAC Sephora makeup you put on your face, they put it on too, to deceive folk. Man, I was going to put in a video to show you these doggone transformations. See, if you didn't have a deceptive spirit, some of y'all without this stuff wouldn't be looking as crazy as you look. I tell you, daughters of Zion have to reject this European beauty standard. You have to reject it because that's just another a tactic they use to make you Hellenistic. We're going to give you a goal and tell you what a standard is and watch you sit up and we profit, make millions and billions off of you trying to meet the goal that we set for you when you ain't going to never look like us. All of them different shades and tactics y'all be using to try to make your contour of your nose look slim, all that foolishness, reject all that mess. It's a doggone shame, man. You want to make it look like you got a slender nose. You take one washcloth to your face and we going to see that Semitic nose. We going to see that bone structure of a Semitic Hebraic people. And you want to hide that. They told you to hide that. It's foolishness, man. I run anybody off that's sitting up telling our daughters of Zion that their hair is not good. Your hair ain't good. They told you that so they could sell you somebody else's hair with some spiritual doggone rituals done behind it. Who gave these people the authority to tell you what's good hair and the Most High Yah put it on here? Y'all better reject these European beauty standards. Better reject it. Most High Yah put that hair on your head, and stop believing this mess that you got to cut all your hair off for your hair to grow. Hair grow from the roots, not the ends. That's scientific. These folk that had you deceived and brainwashed so you cut all your hair off so you can put all these freaking wigs on. Man, if you got a head full of hair and you putting all these, man, you look crazy. You look like you walking around with a helmet on. Need a chin strap for some of these things I see walking around. But I'm the enemy because I tell you the truth and you walk around trying to deceive people. Let's keep going. Truth and restorations. Galatians chapter 4, verse 16. So have I become your enemy by telling you the truth? Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 25. It will be considered righteousness for us, that is, right standing with Yahweh, if we are careful to observe all this commandment before Yahweh, just as he has commanded us. The Most High Yah tells us what righteousness is. 1 John chapter 5, verse 3. For the true love of Yahweh is that we habitually keep his commandments and remain focused on his precepts, and commandments and his precepts are not difficult to obey. Man, if you got a problem with obeying some of his commandments, man, you need to look within. That's the area that you need deliverance as a daughter of Zion. You know, I've got a video back on this YouTube channel. I think it's in my live category, but it's titled "We Need Stronger Men." And it's basically the complete opposite of this message, but for men. You know, if you're watching this and you got a man that you know, just kind of have it. You know, you might not want to recommend it, but hey, You better figure out a way for your man to doggone to get some of this. Your conduct should, hey, I'm watching this video, man. You know, do you want to come watch it with me? I thought this was pretty cool. I learned a lot from it. Introduce it like that, because if a lot of these men that y'all have chosen do not bear the fruits of repentance, sometime soon, I'm telling you, it's going to be a struggle. And if you love him enough, man, you would do what the word says is lead him to the Most High Yah with your conduct. You ain't going to lead nobody to Yah in rebellion. So if you're the daughter of Zion that is sanctified and you got a husband that's struggling, you know, the book says, man, the sanctified wife, you know, covers the sanctified husband and vice versa. But you actually got to be sanctified to do that. You know, when things get hard, man, don't be in a rush to just jump ship and abandon things that's difficult. This book, the fruit of the Spirit, is long suffering. Even if everything goes right according to the will of the Most High Yah and you're striving for righteousness, you still gonna have to suffer long, because you're gonna face a lot of persecution for walking in truth. Man, I did this message knowing that, hey, this is not going to be, if this was to play on the news, this is one of the messages that they would cancel culture. They would flat out cancel culture. We got to, you know, it's sitting up watching every other kind of abomination, but don't want to hear no truth. I understand the assignment, man. I face a lot of persecution for this, but I'm built for it. I got the whole armor on. The whole armor, so that persecution just bounced right off. Man, I want to see restoration of the daughters of Zion, not some of this foolishness that these heathens sit back and watch us do and laugh at. But it's a spirit behind some of the conduct we're seeing. And that spirit is not righteous. Glory to the King. The King is coming. Turn from your sins. Shabbat Shalom. Israel. Closer to Yah Ministries, kicking it gun barrel straight.